Hello? I am live on Twitch. And I'm live on YouTube. Okay, well, okay, then we good, right? Reason why I'm asking is because this is what I'm seeing on my screen right now. OBS has crashed. So, you know, that kind of gives me a heart attack, you know, like, yeah, okay. If I click yes, what happens? Does OBS just restart? One way to find out. Okay. I think I'm back, right? Right? I'm back. Well, that solves that mystery. Yeah. The moment I clicked yes, OBS didn't even reboot. It just shut down. But, luckily, I don't think the stream got affected. YouTube is still running? Or is this a different stream now? Let's see. Is this a new stream? 2 minutes long. Let me refresh this. No, it's still the same stream. Okay, good. YouTube and Twitch, same stream. Bet. Okay, well, that was a weird beginning. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. It is what it is. Doesn't matter. Not gonna bring me down. Alright, I'm in a good mood. I got a lot of energy today. I'm not sure why. But yeah, I'm ready, bro. I'm ready for some reactions, baby. I got a bunch of videos that are going to be really great. I already know it's gonna be great. Very good, very good. All right. Let's see. Checking which one I want to watch first. Yeah, let's start with this one. Oh, yeah, let's start with this one. Let's 100% start with this one. Hell yeah. Alright. You know the deal. I'm gonna count from 3 to 1, then I'm gonna start recording, do my intro, and then we're starting the reaction, okay? Cool. Alright. Recording in 3, 2, 1. What's good, YouTube? Yo, welcome to another Pokemon AZ video reaction. The last one didn't really, how you say it? A lot of people didn't like it. They didn't like I roast the fuck out of the game. Oh, I shouldn't swear. I'm trying to swear less and say less, so just, you know, random fact. You're gonna hear that a lot. So, fuck. We're going to check out this video from my boy Beat 'em Ups. If you don't know him, he's probably the biggest Nintendo shill you'll ever acknowledge. But he's a good dude. All right, he got, you know, morally he's great. He is funny. Got some good commentary, and even though he's a shill of Nintendo and he almost never ever says anything negative about Nintendo. He's talking about why are Pokemon games so outdated. So I'm assuming this is going to be some critical video about Game Freak. So yeah, let's go. I'm excited. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I pressed the wrong button. My bad. There you go. Boom. And it's loading.
Pokemon games look like shit, and I want to know why.
He start off like that? Oh, I can't even, bro, I don't even know how many comments I got saying people said, oh, the game looks fine. Shut the fuck up. The game looks fine. You know, you're just exaggerating. You're just rage baiting. No, bitch. The game looks ass. Even the biggest Nintendo shill just said it outright. Why Pokemon games look like trash. Oh, yes. Get him, boy. Get him.
Cafes, stores, toys, plushies.
Oh, my bad. It's on Dutch. Whoops. There we go.
Apparel, movies, anime, home goods, stationery, snacks, food, glue sticks, shampoos. This.
What the hell? Okay.
Freak have their grubby little hands in literally everything. And when I say Game Freak, yes, I mean Game Freak.
Yes, he means Game Freak. People saying, oh, Game Freak is just a company that's getting hired by Nintendo. No, they own Pokemon, you fucking retards. Oh, I'm gonna... Oh, I love this, bro. It doesn't come from me. It comes from the biggest Nintendo shill you'll ever know, bro. Let's go. Get him. Eat him up.
1996, Blue and Red are the first instance of the existence of the entity that is Pokemon.
Damn right.
Guess who created and owned it at the time?
Game Freak.
Game Freak. Accurately, Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimori. In 1998, 2 years later, Game Freak, Nintendo, and Creatures, the company that made the Pokemon trading card game,
Goated Pokemon trading cards. Let's go.
came
Huge.
together and co-founded the Pokemon Company. Since
They
then,
jump-started the
to
whole
this day,
gacha
each of those
stuff,
three
man.
Companies own 33
Giving giving children the ability to gamble, bro. It's crazy if you think about it.
% of the franchise that is Digimon. Sorry, Pokemon.
Oh.
Pokemon. Arguably one of the most advantageous business transactions of all time, with Pokemon now being, say it with me, everybody, the world's largest franchise, about to top $100 billion.
Oh, it's not Game Freak's fault that they don't get enough finance. It's not Nintendo's fault that they don't finance the game. Oh, Game Freak is a small company and they can't hire anyone. You see how stupid you sound? Oh my god, bro. All those comments on my reaction of the AZ trailer, bro. You see how dumb you are? Do you realize how stupid you are while you're sucking that Game Freak cock like it's your fucking birthday, bro? That doesn't even make sense, but I'm keeping that in. Like, bro, these people are so dumb, man.
In revenue. That's almost double of the next highest franchise in Disney, and exactly 50 NBA Jams. So I ask you, once again, and not for the last time, why do the games look like They are
Yup.
the main thing that is Pokemon. The cards, merch, and anime, they all draw inspiration from each new video game release. The animes are animated beautifully. Even the spin-off underfunded animes like Pokemon Concierge, which has been highly praised for its cheerful atmosphere and its visuals. And
Nobody watching this, bro, above the age of 12. I'm sorry, bro. No, you know what? I'm not even sorry. Fuck that. No, nobody watching this under the age of, above the age of 12, bro. This shit looks ass.
I should know. I've watched it twice, and I cried both times.
Like I said, bro, biggest Nintendo show you'll ever find.
Even the Pokemon cards, some of them look so beautiful that people take them and they put them in protective little tiny glass houses. And it's funny because those same people, when you mention how bad the games look, will start throwing stones in those same tiny glass houses. So can we have an honest conversation about why everything else Pokemon branded is of such high quality and production, but the video games are a laughingstock outside of the Pokemon fandom community? Yeah,
Oh my god, I love this video! Oh, baby, I love this video! Oh, yes.
Pause. I'm gonna stop you right there, buddy. This
What?
video is sponsored by Nixie, and if you can believe it, I've been looking at Switch accessories.
You know what?
For almost
I'm
a
letting
decade,
it play.
and these joypads
I'm letting
are
it play.
easily some of the
I don't care.
best third-party accessory for the Switch that I think I've ever seen. I was immediately blown away by the quality of all their products, both in the way they shipped them to me that had really nice packaging.
Wow.
They sent me pretty much their whole product range, including this GameCube-inspired keyboard. You can clearly tell this company cares a lot about the way their buttons feel and sound across all their products. 22
now that's nice.
RGB lighting modes, and I found some user-created modes in the app. The keys are hot swappable, and this little dot matrix screen up here, you can program it so easily. I threw the U Joy-Cons from my logo on mine. Moving on from there, they also do a wireless controller. This thing feels like an Xbox Elite controller, but you can use it on the Switch and PC and Android and iOS. You know, sometimes like button layouts can get confusing, like Xbox and Switch, they look different. Well, guess what? You pop off the faceplate, you can just move those suckers around wherever you want. So that thing is awesome. And then we take a look at the Hyperion 2 wireless joypads. They have
they got RGB lighting.
Makes it really comfortable to hold. You have programmable back buttons. Effect sticks for zero drift. All of those clicks are so satisfying and addictive and crisp. I can't get enough of them. They have 6-axis gyro motion sensing. They also have removable faceplates. These RGB lights are so easy to change. This one, you just press one button and then you can scroll along to change the colors. This is a hell of a way to spruce up your Switch 1 if you plan to keep playing it. There'll be a link down below for Nixie and all these
That's
products.
fire, man.
Check them out.
Nintendo could never, let's be honest, but that's fire.
Thank you, Nixie, for sponsoring, and thank you guys for supporting my sponsors when I have them. Okay, yeah, you keep talking. What is it? Pokemon sucks? Man, this guy doesn't shut up. You know, I heard he skipped all the story in Arceus.
Yeah, no shit. Everyone did. That shit was ass.
Personally, I'm excited for the new game. They brought back Tepig. Pokemon fans will give you 100 excuses when you bring this up about how as long as the games are fun, the visuals don't matter. I mean, that is inherently true. I mean, look at Witcher 3, the Switch version. That is and always has been Nintendo's own mentality. You know, as long as the game is fun, doesn't matter what it looks like. But
I don't know, man. Nintendo games do have like certain like quality standards that they always have. Like even if it's like pixelated, right? Like the games look great. Name one Nintendo original on the Switch that looks ass. That looks bad. Exactly. Outside of Pokemon, there's none.
How long are we going to use that Nintendo expression to excuse poor game development? Pokemon Legends Z. Don't you leave that comment. Oh, but Game Freak are doing their best to and the game, it's not even out yet. Yeah.
Oh my god, he got the same comments, bro. He knows the people. He knows the people that got in my video, bro. Oh my god. Oh, I love this video. Oh, this is my favorite video this year. Holy shit, bro.
That impression of you definitely prevented the comment.
Oh, bro. They tried their best. Shut the fuck up.
It's about Game Freak's approach to video game development since they made the Switch to the Switch. So we have a lot to look at. And in the words of Ash Ketchum himself,
you can't undo what's already been done, but you can face up to it.
That's an actual quote.
Did he say that?
I did research. He didn't believe me.
Oh, wow,
I gotta get ahead of this a little bit because I have talked about Pokemon graphics here on this channel, on my podcast, and whenever I bring it up, people often say the same things, and one of them is, he's not a true Pokemon fan.
Oh my days, bro. You're not a Pokemon fan. You didn't even know how that ugly ass dog was called. These are the same goddamn people, bro, defending these god-awful looking ass games that don't even function correctly. Oh, man. Oh, yep. You're just rage baiting. You're just making content to make people mad and click on your god awful videos. You small video. You're fucking trash. Your channel's so bad. You should stop making videos. And look at you now, huh? Look at you now. Huh? Would you look at that? A person with 1.82 million subscribers is saying the goddamn same shit I said. Oh my days, bruh. Oh god, this is thank you, God. Can't believe you blessed me with this.
He skipped all the dialogue in Arceus, so you can't take his opinion seriously. I'm not sure how skipping this very bloated story correlates to my eyes functioning, but it's...
Pop-off king.
Seems worth it to try and get ahead of this, so I'm gonna let you know now, I am actually a Pokemon fan.
Yep.
I'm not super hardcore. Like, I haven't made it my whole identity. I don't have a tattoo. I don't own a Lucario fursuit that I...
You don't? What? That's crazy, man.
wear on weekends. Look, I wish I had both of those things. One
you
of my
really
first games was Red. Who could forget playing Gold as a kid? And so many others. I played pretty much every...
Platinum is still my favorite one I've played. It's the only Pokemon game I've ever beaten as well. But I just love, like, what's his face? Giratina, bro. Giratina is such a sick legendary, man. He's my favorite. Him and Darkrai are, like, probably my favorite Pokemon.
Every mainline Pokemon game. Never played Black and White because it was just that age where I was falling out of Pokemon before I decided to fall back in. And at this point now, I'm just waiting for a Black and White remake because everybody says it's the best one. The first time I went to Japan, half the stuff I brought back was Pokemon merchandise. We even made sure to get a reservation at the Pokemon Cafe. And let me tell you, when Chef Pikachu came waddling out to ask me if I liked the meal he cooked, I almost wept like a baby. It was so wholesome.
That's so
what I'm trying
cute.
to say is I do love Pokemon. But if you were to put a gun to my head and ask me to name a single character in any Pokemon game outside of Professor Oak and my mom, you may as well pull the trigger.
I mean, you know, you got Gary, you got... I got one at least.
I think when I was a kid playing Red for the first time, I gave 2 squirts a piss about the story. No, I was too busy gambling on slots for a Polygon and riding up and down this one shoreline because I wanted 100 Master Balls.
Also, we couldn't read. At least I couldn't. I was playing Pokemon at the ripe age of, like, what, 8? You really think I could read English at the age of 8? Obviously, I could read, but I'm not English, my boys. I am not natively English. I am Dutch. My English has been learned throughout the years. I was playing Pokemon games without being able to read. All right? God, some people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't know this and this and this when they said this in this game when it came out in 1990. Shut the fuck up, bro. I wasn't even born back then. Shit, man. Oh, you're not a real Pokemon fan because you didn't even know this. Didn't even know that this happened. And you know, like, shut the fuck up. Do you realize how dumb you sound? Do you realize how stupid you sound? Do you realize how fucking autistic you sound? Shut the fuck up, bro. Please. For your sake and mine.
Oh, while I was scripting this video, Kim sent me a text saying she just woke up from a nap dreaming about an old Pokemon toy she had where the Mewtwo had tits.
What?
We're locked in on Pokemon.
Nice.
Why does it have tits? I'm making this video because
those are pecs. Get it right.
I do care. Because 25 million people is a lot of people to buy a video game. But a lot more people bought games like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, because people actually have brains that bought those games. Now, I still have yet to play Breath of the Wild. I do own it. Here we go. Have to show it, obviously, because otherwise people don't fucking believe me. Here, look at that. See that? See that? Breath of the Wild. Look at that. You see that? Breath of the Wild. All right. I do own the game. Okay. Also, I've been planning on starting the game on stream. Just haven't really had the time or the energy for it. Okay. All right. Anyway, continue.
And Animal Crossing. And Zelda isn't even in that Wikipedia list of top grossing franchises, which means, yes, it's below NBA Jam. And remember when Breath of the Wild came out and no one would shut up about it, how it was a new breathtaking,
I don't need 4K for this one, by the way. It's fine.
Inspiring new video game. Don't we want that from something like Pokemon? I feel
he says everything I replied to these idiots in my comments, bro. Finally, a voice of reason.
Like these games always get a pass because they manage to sell so much, but
yep.
It should be higher, shouldn't it? We as fans, do we not want the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon, or are we content with the? Okay, this.
Look at this, bro.
Okay, this guy's making some incredible points, and he has me completely sold.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Just watched his last podcast episode where he said some of this stuff in the episode. One of the top comments was, the games only make up 10% of Pokemon's total revenue, which...
Does that matter? That doesn't matter, bro. That's so... Oh, these people are so stupid. Oh, they're so stupid.
Fan of the podcast, and I love him. I love that they left this comment because it also allowed me to get ahead of this one, because what the piss? 10% of $100 billion, by the way, is still
that's more than he'll ever make in his entire generation, bro.
Around 10 to 15 billion dollars just for the video games, which is a whole Grand Theft Auto franchise. I would just like to remind you again, something I've already said, the merch, the anime, the new cards, all of the new merch, those come from the video games. So if the video games currently are only making 10% of the revenue, imagine if we made the video games good. That would then trickle down to all the new merch, plushies, and all of that, and boost those revenue and sales even more. I guess I just don't understand the argument that the Pokemon company makes too much money to try or bother with the video games anymore, when the video games are still making more money than 99% of the rest of the gaming industry. All right.
I don't see any other big franchise such as from Nintendo, like, not trying. Zelda keep trying every single generation. Although I'm not a big fan of the Zelda game, I do understand what they were trying to do. It's just not really a kind of game I would be playing. That's just my, that's me, right? But look at the new Mario Kart that's coming up. I watched like a whole video of somebody explaining the incredible, incredible programming these people been through on only the trailer. He like dissected the whole trailer. I don't remember his name. He's some Asian guy. He does like a bunch of that stuff. And he dissected the whole trailer, saying all these like technical terms that I've never heard of. And bro, apparently this game is so well optimized, although it's still the trailer, right? It could just be one part of the game that just looks really good right now, right? But we don't know that yet. Then you go to like the Breath of the Wild and the other one, I forgot the name, the second Breath of the Wild. Like, they keep innovating, they keep getting better. Meanwhile, Pokemon is stuck in 2018. Like, it's not a discussion at this point, bro. It's a fact. They don't give a shit. Alright? They don't make games to look good. They don't.
Right. Anyway, back to this chump. Let me get to the point. I know Pokemon fans hate when other Pokemon fans complain about how the Pokemon games look. And if you try complaining...
Yeah, of course they hate it, because then they understand that their hypocrisy is stupid, that their opinions are dumb, that their brain is not functioning correctly when they hear accurate statements. Anyway, continue.
complaining this time around about how Pokemon Z and A look, they'll say, but it looks so much better than Scarlet and Violet. And well, yeah, but that's a really low bar. And
Yes!
Game Freak are the ones that set that bar.
Yep.
This game isn't anywhere near the industry standard and looks worse than anything else Nintendo is doing, which is...
Preach, my man! Preach! Oh, man. Oh, I love when my agenda gets solidified by somebody who's big in this community, in this whole, like, entertainment business that is YouTubers. Oh, God. So glad I finally hear somebody actually saying truthful statements that make sense. Oh, God. I love this man.
is already being scrutinized for being behind the times. Saying that this is better than the previous amounts of terrible is like going to your job every day and just intentionally being the worst you could be, just messing everything up, the worst employee this company has, but then like a year later you actually start trying and you do a little bit better and expect to be praised for being slightly less shit.
Imagine you're coming to work, you know, late for 30 minutes every single week. And then out of nowhere, you start coming on time for 3 times that week. And then you come to your boss saying, but I've been getting on time 3 times a week. Before I was getting 30 minutes late for the whole week. I'm getting better, boss. And then the boss is gonna look at you in the face and he's gonna hand you a bunch of papers and saying you're fired. Fuck off. That's how that happens, alright? And if Nintendo had any sense of integrity against fucking Game Freak, they would have booted their asses out of the fucking studio 3 game generations ago, alright?
You could pick just about any first-party Nintendo game and compare it to ZA, even the soon-to-be re-released Wii U game, Xenoblade X, and it would be clear that this is not a Swish hardware issue, but an issue of a developer who is struggling to create games post the 3DS.
Yeah, they don't know how to build the games, bro. They think, all right, we're just gonna make another DS game. We were pretty good at that. And we're just gonna make it into a Switch game. That's it. You know, graphics, be damned. Who cares? Models, who cares? It's so stupid, man. Oh, but there's a bunch of different entities in the game. Yeah. You ever heard of like, I don't know, any other game that has a bunch of different entities? Like, come on, bro. That's not a fucking excuse for the graphics, bro. Get out of here. Not every single entity is loaded the moment you boot up the game, you moron. Okay?
So let's not do that. Let's not compare it to those other Nintendo games. Let's do what Pokemon fans like to do and only compare it to Pokemon's own games.
Yep.
A nice little echo chamber for us to play around in, see how our voice sounds. Hello? Hello? We saw...
Wow, this Pokemon game is great, great. Hell yeah, man. It's awesome. Awesome. Oh, I think this game's pretty ass. Gunshot. That's how it happens, bro. That's pretty much how it happens. The moment you criticize anything about Game Freak or Pokemon games, you get either scrutinized to an insane degree, or they socially reject you, or they boot you out of Reddit, or they roast your ass, or they're coming up with different opinions that are stupid. You know, that's how it happens. That's how the echo chamber of Game Freak dick suckers act. All right.
Or in Scarlet and Violet that Game Freak struggles to create competent game worlds that aren't full of glitches, bugs, and low-resolution textures.
But they don't get enough time. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up.
Terrible frame rates and assets stuck together with spaghetti and crazy glue. You just blink at this game wrong and you'll be falling through the floor. But I think the biggest offender here is that resolution. At the time, fans said, Well, at least it looks better than Sword and Shield. However, comparing Scarlet and Violet to the Pokemon ZA trailer, the new game...
They just used a filter. They got rid of the pixelated filter that they were using on the games. And now it has like some smoother graphics, but it's still ass. It still looks like my thumb, bro. Fuck off.
Does look a lot better at first glance. Now, I want to say, to Game Freak's credit, looking back at their other Pokemon reveal trailers, all these trailers seem to be rendered within the game. They hide absolutely nothing about the way that their games look and play. So that gives us a very good, trustworthy bar that Pokemon Z and A is an in-game rendered trailer running on the hardware. And if
oh, you don't know how the game is gonna look. The game isn't out yet. You have to wait until the game is out until you can actually criticize it. You realize that a trailer is something they put out for people to get excited about a game and convince them to buy a game. And it's not something they show to deter you from buying the game. It's supposed to be like enticing you to buy the game. You realize that that's the point of a trailer, right? How in the fuck are you going to say, oh, but the game is not even out yet. You can't really criticize it. This is what Game Freak wanted us to show. This is what Game Freak wanted to show us, to entice us, to excite us to buy this game. I'm never gonna get tired of explaining this, alright? I don't care. I don't care how many times I have to say this. A trailer is supposed to make you buy the game. You can't say, oh, but the game isn't out yet. You can't really criticize it. This is what's supposed to be bought. It's supposed to be the piece that they show you. This is like the free sample they give you at the supermarket. Like, oh, you want me... You want this new meat that we're making, and then you get like a sample of this mystery meat that you don't even know what the fuck it's in it, right? And you just eat it, and you're like, oh, that's great. I'll buy some. That's what a trailer is. How are these dumb fucks not understanding this, man?
If this is true, I will say they've done a fantastic job at fixing resolutions and draw distances. All those jagged edges are completely gone. And I think that's why people look at these two images and think that this new one is so much better. But
yeah, they just increased the what's that thing? The FXQ or whatever the fuck. It's like ×2 is like the previous game. And now they have like ×4 instead of 2. It still looks ass though. Most games run on like 8 times or 16 times. But who cares, right? Who cares?
How did they do that? I think it's pretty clear if you really look at this, specifically the buildings, a way they managed to bring down those jagged edges is by just not having anything that would create a jagged edge. They've flattened out almost every texture and model. Specifically, all these very similar looking buildings throughout the city. In all three of the other Pokemon games on the Game Freak designed the buildings with intent and purpose. The architectural designs of the buildings, they had depth. They had balconies, awnings, brick, window sills, glass textures, concaves, you know, like intentional designs, man. Scarlet and Violet, for example, was set in Spain, and they clearly took those buildings as inspiration and went to work sculpting them, and they would look beautiful if you could see them through the jank. But you know, at least the thought was there. Here, almost every building has the same window.
It's all flat.
C and Control V'd all over it. It's honestly giving Lego. I mean, they're just rectangles with stickers stuck to the front. It's also the same tactic they did use in Scarlet and Violet for the environments. And I broke this down in my review of that game. They took one small section of texture and just copy pasted it everywhere, hoping you wouldn't look at it for 2 seconds and accidentally notice. Incredibly lazy games.
They did that for Arceus too. Another game I own, and I have played, alright? I have played it. I have a video about me playing it. the majority of is me just memeing on the you know, on the story and the characters. I did like little like voice impressions and all that. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny video. I'm still pretty proud of it. It took way too long to make though for the amount of views it got, but it's still one of my favorite videos I ever made. So who cares?
Development and completely voids all personality and life.
Lazy game development. Hey yo, hold up. I didn't know I have a gaming studio. Hold on.
From a city that's based on a city that is so filled with personality and life. Despite some people thinking that this is Tokyo Tower, it's actually the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
is this? The city bears resemblance to the city of Paris.
Oh, that's why it looks like trash. Oh, that's why. They were just trying to remake Paris. Oh, it makes sense now. It makes so much sense. Wow, how did I not know that?
In fact, if you take yourself on Google Street View and you plop yourself right about here, I think I found the street that the trailer is actually set on, which is pretty cool. And credit to Game Freak that I managed to do that, and then I could tell what they were going for. But where Paris had these beautiful iron metal balconies, in Game Freak's rendition of that, they have these beautiful iron metal balcony JPEGs. I'm gonna... What? I'm actually quite speechless. This is not the way they did it in any of the other games. This is new. And also, Game Freak, by your own logic, if you were just going to copy paste it, you could have just made one balcony and then copy pasted that a bazillion times. Why this? I don't think they're even that lazy. I think there is something else going on here. In Scarlet and Violet, despite how intentional those buildings were, from a distance, or really even up close, but definitely from a distance, they look like the low resolutions and lack of any kind of anti-aliasing. They shimmer and shine, but like in the worst way. So Game Freak, not knowing how to fix this very basic issue, found yet another gameplay development workaround for Pokemon ZNA. Flat, lifeless buildings with a picture of what a nice building could look like glued to the front. Now you might say, does it really matter, Wood, what a building looks like in a...
Yes, it does. All right, here we go.
Video game. And I would say, yes, if it looks like this, I'm gonna say something, but also, this whole game is set in a city. When you go to New York City and you want to take in the sights, what do you look at? Is it the rats in the street? Is it the weird people dancing on the train that you try really hard not to make eye contact with because you're scared? No. It's the buildings. So I'm gonna be looking at these the whole time I play, and they look like this, but some of them have some sort of depth to them. But clearly this is also just one window design that has been copy and pasted several times.
Crazy.
What are these windows supposed to be? Or even the ones next to them. Like, I don't really know what I'm looking at. But what I do know is my favorite kind of balcony JPEG is the balcony JPEG that has a flower JPEG on top of it. I mean, that just really ties the room together. But not a single window in this entire trailer has any kind of reflection at all, or presents itself as an actual window. They all just look like Game Freak Googled the word blue and used the first thing that came up in Google image results. Even these huge shop windows, which if we go back and we look at the actual Paris street, you can see a lot of these buildings have little storefronts under them. So this would be a really nice opportunity to fill this storefront window.
Yeah, but that would take effort and time. And we know that Game Freak is just a small little indie studio with like 100 members. And they can't afford to hire anyone else. And they don't got enough time because Nintendo is this evil overlord that doesn't allow them to make a good game. Even though every other developers for any other Nintendo franchise looks amazing. However, let's just disregard that because Game Freak is just a small little indie studio that doesn't have any say whatsoever what happens in the game, and Nintendo is forcing them and whipping them in their sweatshops, making them work 12 minutes a day, and it's gruesome. It's insane. It's so terrible. I feel so bad for Game Freak because they are such like they're so suppressed, they're so oppressed by the Nintendo overlords that they can't make a proper video game. It's so no, it's not. Stop defending this shit.
With a store, but nope. Just a JPEG. We even get a close-up of this building as we climb all the way up like the world's ugliest elevator. They're using a JPEG for the whole building, but they couldn't even use a high-quality JPEG. Like, they couldn't even render in the JPEG. Who is designing these? Oh, at least it looks better than the other Pokemon games, does it?
It doesn't.
Does it? Because
it doesn't.
6 years ago, in Sword and Shield, the windows actually had reflections. They weren't true reflections. They didn't actually reflect.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Sword and Shield, I played a little bit. I thought it was alright. It was still a jank-ass game. Don't get me wrong. But it was alright. I didn't really like it. But that's a whole different issue. But yeah, it looked alright. And especially for like the first ever, you know, Switch game on. No, it's not the first. Is it? Whatever. One of the first, you know, Pokemon games on the Switch. You know, I could, you know, I looked, you know, I just ignored it. You know, I was like, you know what? It's a Pokemon game on the Switch. Who cares? You know, if it's fun, it's alright. It wasn't fun, but that's my opinion. A lot of people liked it, and you know. If you like it, that's fine, right? That's fine. I just didn't like it. But the fact that this game looks a lot better than the new game that's coming out, that's telling.
Anything that was happening, but it was serviceable and it got the point across, and honestly, looks pretty nice. But I guess this is yet another.
And they rendered the PNGs. Look,
anything that was happening, but it was serviceable.
It's actually rendered.
Got the point across, and honestly, looks pretty.
Like you can look at this like I don't know. I would assume there's like a commercial or something, like an ad, right? At least this is like loaded in, as you can see, like it's rendered. This is rendered into the game. It looks, you know, not blurry.
Pretty nice. But I guess this is yet another way that Game Freak found to pare down development, because they even did away with those in Scarlet and Violet. In fact, the only window I could find in the entire Scarlet and Violet game, and I had to ride around that sucker for way too long, by the way, I forgot how janky it was this one. And I don't even understand what the hell is going on up there.
That's not even a reflective window. That's just blur on a piece of glass.
It's just very confusing. Yeah, hi, me again. Sorry, I'm filming this in the future after I recorded a ton more gameplay for Scarlet and Violet. I actually didn't remember how bad this truly was. These characters popping in and out, seemingly at random. It's not even distance-based. And by the way, when I say disappear, I literally mean disappear. You can't go and find them again. They're just erased from the game. This video isn't supposed to be about Scarlet and Violet, but my god. Also, I was recording footage for the video and I saw this, and I never noticed this before, but it's because I'm so obsessed with Windows right now. Another cheap tactic that Game Freak does in their game is they have this placeholder unrendered in city that looks terrible from a distance, but the placeholder city doesn't have lights in the windows. So when you get a little closer to the city, it pops and fully renders in the actual city, and because it's night, the lights all just turn on. They didn't.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually gonna, you know, defend Game Freak for this, because games have done this for I don't know how long. Like, depends on like what kind of render distance you got, right? And, you know, the Switch hardware is limited. We all know this. Even games such as Mario Odyssey had kinds of issues like this. Not as horrible as this, by the way. I want to clarify that, right? It was not as bad as this. But they do have, like, certain, like, you know, render distance requirements. That you have to be certain distance away to see something look better. So it is a kind of a thing that, you know, games developers use to like make the game run smoother, especially on a you know on the Switch, right? But this is bad. All right, I'm not excusing this. I'm just saying this is something a lot of game studios do. It's just that this shit is worse than the most of them do. All right.
Even make an unrendered inversion with lights on for the nighttime. Because why bother? But that window and subsequently the building that it's attached to brings me to another very good point. All three of these games have something in common. Well, graphics. So I guess two things. They all have one nice building. Each game has a central location building that looks night and day better than any other structure in the game. Like in Scarlet and Violet, it was the school, which looked fantastic.
Okay, sure. Let's call it fantastic. All right, let's go with that.
And then in Arceus, it was whatever that big.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that building is okay. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
Building was in the village that they did stuff in. I don't know. I skipped the story. And my assumption here is that
I think it was like some I don't know, it's like some police or something, or like some ranger kind of thing. It's something to do with that.
it's a tactic to kind of trick our brains into thinking the game actually looks nicer than it does, because the building that you might have gone to most frequently actually didn't look that bad. And for example, in Pokemon Z&A, we get in this trailer a shot of the main character picking out of the 3 Pokemon, and there is this, quite frankly, gorgeous structure behind him. Just wonderful stonework, designs, there's arches, there's depth, vines and grass. There's possibly even a reflective window in this sucker. This clearly demonstrates that Game Freak can design buildings like this. They don't though. They either just, I guess, don't care about the rest of the game, or maybe they don't have the time, maybe they're being rushed, or maybe it's all of these extra designs and details just makes the game look a little worse because it's more things to render. I mean, God forbid we render in a JPEG of a building, let alone an actual building. They don't.
I still don't get this part of the trailer. Why is he start flying? Like, he does like some Spider-Man move. Right, he pulls like on some look, he has like something in his hand, but it's not rendered in. So I don't know, I still don't remember or understand why, how he did this and what it's supposed to represent, you know. But regardless, go on.
Let alone an actual building. They don't want to bog the game down with anything that might hurt the overall presentation. A great example here of what I'm looking for, bare minimum, from these games is to look at Scarlet and Violet again, but in 4K. The low resolution of this game on the Switch is not.
Okay, 4K might be a bit of a stretch, but, you know, I would, you know, say in 2025, the bare minimum should be 1080p. Let's keep it a buck, all right? 1080p should be the bare minimum, just like 60 FPS should be the bare minimum. We cannot have games that run on less than 60 FPS in 2025, all right? And I know there's like a rumor that says that the new GTA 6 is going to run at 40 or 30. I hope it's not. I hope it's not true. But that's horrible, all right? Imagine having a console that is, let's say the PS5 Pro, right? It's out right now. It's like, how much is the PS5 Pro? Hold on, let me check. PS5 Pro price. It is, at current retail value, is 750 euros. So that's like, I don't know, 800 bucks, something like that. Let's say it's 800. 850 for a new PS5 Pro. Imagine you buying that thing, right, for 750, and the game runs on 30. Something that hasn't happened since the PS2. Yeah, I would be pissed.
The Switch's fault. These games are very basic. It's just that Game Freak doesn't know how to optimize or build a 3D world. That's not a controversial thing to say. We've seen it countless times in other games on the console, and I know the console can't do 4K, but this is what the game looks like when you fix the resolution.
Oh, he's gonna do the Switch emulator, right? Yep, here we go. The game looks great on the emulator. Like, when the emulator like cranks up everything, the game looks great. Look at that. Wow.
Oh, that didn't really help my point. No, I'm kidding. It's a night and day difference. And you can see what they designed. And this is probably what it actually looked like on their end when they made the game on a PC before they had to scale it down somehow for the Switch. So rather than trying to figure this out, they just took out anything in the game that would look bad in low resolution rather than fixing the resolution. If you look at the streets of Pokemon ZNA as a whole, it gets its point across and you get what they're going for. But as soon as you look at any one element on its own, the flaws start to show. The fact that they still can't design anything with a high enough poly count to actually make it round, that no NPC in this game has a shadow. And that goes for most objects too, except this awning, based on everything else in this picture, why does it even have a shadow? Yeah, I just wanted to take one more look at this awning with you guys. Why is it here? There's plenty of shop fronts, even in this same image and other images, that don't have awnings. What is the point of the awning? Why is it only on 3 of the 5 windows? What is it covering? There's no tables, there's no chairs. Also, why is the awning like half a millimeter thick? One gust of wind and that sucker's gone. When Sword and Shield revealed and I had an issue with the trees, I became the tree guy for a minute. Everyone was like, what is the problem with the trees? Who cares about the trees? I feel like this time I'm going to be the window guy or the awning guy crashing out over windows and an awning. And once again, it does seem like NPCs are incapable of moving around the...
Oh no, we got an Avowed. We got an Avowed 2.0, man. Oh no, NPC's not moving. Oh god.
Game world. They just stand there lifelessly. I mean, this was the case in Pokemon Arceus as well. Even 60 hours into my playthrough, this old lady is still sweeping that one spot. I'm sorry, honey. If it ain't clean now, it probably ain't gonna be. In Scarlet and Violet, there were some characters that had animations, like a little jig, and it looks like all those have been stripped out. And then there were even a few NPCs that would walk around. But due to the game having absolutely terrible draw distances and crazy pop in and pop out, those characters would disappear and reappear like ghosts. And Game Freak, rather than try and figure out how to not have that happen, decided to glue their feet to the ground tighter than they glued the JPEGs to the buildings. Of course, that one is an assumption because they haven't played the full game. Maybe they do move around. A lot of this is based on just...
I doubt it. Because if they would show NPCs moving around, I would think that they would put that in the trailer to like show like, yo, look, we heard your criticism, we heard your, you know, your anger, your rage about our last game, and we fixed it. Look, NPCs are now moving, right? They got like idle animations and stuff. Like, yeah, that's what you wanted, right? We did that. Although they didn't put it in the trailer, so I would assume that they did not do it. Yeah, that's just a very reasonable assumption, I would assume.
The trailer, and I feel like some people are gonna say, well, you haven't even played the full game yet. And again, this trailer is rendered in game, I'm assuming based on all their other trailers, and this is what they've shown us, and I'm literally only talking about what I'm seeing in this trailer. I'm sure I'll find a whole piss of things once I start playing the game to complain about.
I don't think those fans or those people in his comments realize that saying you haven't played the full game yet isn't going to work in their favor. It's going to work against them. Because the moment he plays the full game, he's gonna find even more fuck shit that's wrong in the game that hasn't been shown in the trailer.
Why wait? How about the absolutely no ground animations for these Sandiles who look more like they're glitching through the floor than swimming through the dirt? This few second shot right here is absolutely insane to me. The Pokemon and the people are fully rendered in, but nothing else in the shot is. The floor...
I mean... if this is rendered in, then yeah, that's not excusable. I'm sorry. No, oh, and here come the comments again. Oh yeah, it's gonna look trash because you zoomed in. No, I'm zooming in to reflect what I'm looking at, to like direct your attention to the problem. All right. God, people are so dumb.
The floor is blurry, the brick is blurry, and that's before we even talk about the fact this is a moving shot, and every frame of the animation has the floor down here glitching on the wall, and this is what they chose to show us? And don't get me wrong, the Pokemon look fantastic, the moves and the animations of that, the battling, really flashy. I even like the way the UI looks. It's sleek.
How does Pokemon... Was that Rivals? No, not Rivals. Pokemon Unite. How does Pokemon Unite look better than this game? That's a free-to-play game. A free-to-play game looks better than the new AAA full-on new Pokemon game. Let that sink in.
It's nice. And some people will say it's a Legends game. It's a spin-off of the main series. It's not supposed to look as nice. But then that goes against the people that are saying that it looks better than Scarlet and Violet, which was a main series game. So which is it? Arceus used a more cel-shaded style of visual, which I think actually helped hide a lot of the imperfections.
Yeah.
When that game came out, I don't think I really even complained about the way the game looked. I actually kind of liked it. This new Legends game, though, has seemingly dropped that, and they've moved towards the more mainline series art direction. It's not cel-shaded. You know, I struggle to call this realistic, but I guess you know what I mean. And this game, at face value, does look better than Scarlet and Violet. Again, because they stripped out anything and made everything flat to trick your brain into thinking that it actually does look good when it really doesn't. But there are some things, to be fair, that legitimately do look a lot nicer. The inside of buildings here have a much more warm and high-resolution feel, like it feels cozy. I took some examples from other games set in similar office-style buildings. It's very clear that the new one doesn't look as bad. Another thing that stood out to me immediately is the grass textures. I don't think the grass in ZNA looks particularly pleasant, but you compare it to Scarlet and Violet, and what were they thinking? It's like a sea of Lamborghini green. Like, it is neon. It's probably as green as the green screen I'm standing.
Damn, that's a big-ass green screen, bro. That's crazy.
On. Put me in the grass, Zach. Hello! This was a whole ass game we were handed just a few years ago that we all paid $60 for, complete with 12 FPS gameplay and more bugs than under a rock in my garden. I guess if ZA is good enough to make people finally look back at Scarlet and Violet and realize that they were ripped off in 2022, I mean, I'll take it. I made a video about that game and people were equally upset with me for that. I feel like throughout this video, I've been really trying to get ahead of anything that people will try to say to invalidate my opinion that the game looks bad. And I do feel like it's a losing battle. I mean, on my podcast recently, I pointed out that the games still look pretty rough. And one of the top comments...
Oh, here we go. I'm convinced some Pokemon fans will find stuff to complain about because honestly, I really like ZA so far, especially because Tepic is back. Mad respect to the Chikorita fans, by the way. Be winning for real, for real. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. You know what's wrong with the world right now? It's that critical thinking. It's no longer something that people are capable of. They just see hate and they react to the hate, saying you're wrong, saying I'm convinced you complain about everything. I'm convinced that if you make a sandwich, you're gonna complain about your own sandwich. Like I'm convinced that when you get out of bed and you stub your toe, you're gonna complain because somehow it is not your fault, but it's the thing that you stub your toe on that shouldn't be there. Like, listen, at some point you gotta realize and you gotta, accept that you're wrong. This game looks like utter trash. This game looks like the alleyways in Paris, full of trash, homeless people, filth, and grime. Alright? This game looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay? Can we please just accept that this is a fact? This is not an opinion. This is an objective reality that you people are not understanding and do not see. Okay? Just trust me. And if you don't want to trust me, trust my boy over here. Okay? Because he's a respected individual in the Nintendo community. And he has very structurally sound points and opinions and statements throughout this whole video and throughout his whole channel. Trust him when he says that this new game looks like trash. Okay? Thank you.
Said I was wrong, and that they actually really like the way the game looks so far, because Tech Pig is back, and yeah, he is.
He is, yeah, so what?
People even calling me a snob, that I'm moving the goalpost for Game Freak. I'm not sure where the goalpost is for Game Freak in my mind, but I'm telling
I don't want to like be critical or anything, but the goalpost, it's supposed to be a golf reference. It's not supposed to be a football reference. Like, it's like the flag you have in a golf course. That's the goalpost. It's not a football reference. Just so you know.
Telling you now, they've never even been in the same zip code as that motherfucker. I can't say it's better than before. I will concede to at least it being different. And it is.
Yeah.
It is different. This is not how they've ever designed buildings before. That is very different. But in doing that, they have managed to clean up the resolutions and that weird jank that we saw in previous games, and some people might actually prefer that trade-off. But I'm just here asking, in 2025, why can we not have both? I'll apologize for this, but sometimes I wonder if it's me, my ADHD,
No.
or whatever is wrong with me mentally, when
No.
I hyperfixate on something. But when I look at these buildings, or if you want to call these textures, or this face mask, you know, I get offended. I can't help but stare at them the whole time, and they're just preventing me from being able to fully immerse myself in the experience and feel like that 10-year-old boy that would just want to go around catching Pokemon and ignoring everything the adults are saying, which I still do even now in real life. I ignore everything people are. That's probably the it's ADHD. Ultimately, the game is fun. I agree, the game is fun, but I can't help but feel gaslit.
I'm sorry, man. I don't care how fun a game is. If the game hurts my eyes to look at, I'm not playing it. I'm not playing something that is supposed to be fun if every time I look at it, my eyes puke. Alright? I want to rip out my eyes. This game looks horrific. Now, you would say, oh, this game came out in 2010. I'm like, whoa, holy shit, that looks great. But that's 15 years ago, bro. Buddy boy, 15 years. That's 15 years ago. 2010. It's 2025. You know, the 2 means it's 20, and the 5 means it's 5. All right? And how much is 25 minus 10? Ding, 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 ding. It's 15. Very good. Incredible. Impressive. I'm proud of you.
That this is acceptable game development from Game Freak
at
this point. There is no reason for their games not to be in a better place. Not to be in the same or better place than games like Mario, Zelda, Pikmin, Xenoblade, or any other Nintendo IP. Stubbornness. It has to be. It's focusing in on that tight release window. Since despite the games being the main source of fandom, the merchandise is where the real money is. It honestly, it feels like we're being taken advantage of. It offends me. Does it not offend you?
Yes,
Are you
it
not
does.
offended? They just take advantage of Pokemon fans, knowing full well they can phone in the games and we'll buy them anyway because it's Pokemon. You love Pokemon, right? Why don't you buy this Wiglet plushie and this Victory Bell plushie, and please don't, whatever you do, don't combine them. 200 people working at Game Freak, which prospectively is not a lot of people. Studios like Rockstar, Naughty Dog, Bethesda, they have thousands of employees.
I mean, you could argue that it's a little bit bloated. You could argue that the most gaming studios have bloated for employees, right?
I think Game Freak should be on the studio's level, if not a little higher. But we don't want to muddy the waters with all of these employees. Like thousands, that's too much. I understand and I respect keeping a team small. But 200 at this point might be a bit too small, don't you think? But even Xenoblade's developer Monolith Studios has 300 developers. And their games only sell a couple million units. Pokemon sells over 20 million. Something's not adding up. And Xenoblade, with even just 100 extra people, manages to make games that look like this. It's almost like having some extra people on board helped. And it's not just beautiful visuals that the Xenoblade team are putting together either. It's crazy over-the-top animated cutscenes and full voice acting. Breath of the Wild or...
Okay, well, voice acting... I know that costs money to, you know, do, right? But I don't really care that much about voice acting. Considering I don't really care. Well, I don't really care about voice acting. Yeah, especially not the English ones. No, I'm good. But okay, yeah, voice acting is definitely a criticism. It is something, however, that I am not criticizing Pokemon games on, because honestly, it's not worth it. It, like, complaining about bad voice acting or no voice acting is far below on my list on the other complaints I have about Pokemon games. Okay? So it's not even in the top 10 of issues.
Also had a 300-person team, and it took them 4 years to make that game. Mario Odyssey had 360 people. That took them 3 years to make that game. Game Freak is understaffed, but
Wow, would you look at that?
They are in no way underfunded. I want to touch on something I said earlier, and that's that people always say, well, the games still sell. And yes, they still sell. They're one of the best.
Yeah, but you know why? It's the same principle on why people bought a brick from, what's that company called? Supreme. Remember that? They literally sold a brick with Supreme on it, and people bought it. People bought a crowbar, and I believe that's also from Supreme. They bought a Supreme crowbar, and somebody interviewed him and asked, why are you buying a crowbar? And then he said, it's a fucking crowbar. These people don't have brains, bro. They do not have brains. They should not even be allowed outside, in my opinion, because they are critically undeveloped.
Best-selling game franchises of all time, but when you look at the franchise prospectively and how many millions, if not a billion people love the property and the franchise that is Pokemon, why aren't more people buying the games? Yeah, 20 million's a lot. So's 40 million. So's 50. You know, if some of these other franchises like Animal Crossing can break 50, something that most people probably didn't even know what that was when New Horizons came out, why can't the world's largest...
I think... Okay. I want to be, you know, fair about this. The reason why New Horizon sold as well as, you know, as it did is partially, I'm not gonna say it's only, it's partially because of everyone not having jobs at that moment, being stuck at home because stupid regulations for some disease that only killed a couple 100,000. You know, like, you know, I think that's very valid, you know, to realize that. But still, that's a lot of people buying the game.
This franchise that literally any grandma could probably point at a Pikachu and say its name. Why are they only selling 20 million? Maybe because the games actually aren't that good. It's just...
Yeah, because people like me, who do like Pokemon, and bought Arceus, and got really disappointed, and thus just decided to just not buy any Pokemons. I bought the Diamond remake. I thought it was pretty good. Thought it was pretty fun, you know? Cell shaded models, looked good. I like the old, you know, old school like top down view style. It was great. I liked it. I liked the Diamond remake. I didn't beat it because I don't really beat games that much. But I like doing it. I like playing it. You know, I did. And, you know, I had some solid hours in that game. But from what I saw from Sword and Shield, and then the other one, I just, you know, at this point, if the game doesn't look good, I'm not even gonna like bat an eye. All right, I'm not even gonna look at it. I'm not even gonna consider buying it. If the game doesn't look good, I'm not buying it. I'm not even thinking about it. And that's just the sad reality I have for Pokemon games. Pokemon games inherently look like trash. Okay? It's no longer 2010. Alright? We can make solid looking games. Alright? Please, Game Freak, for the love of God, show us that you care. Or pretend to care. Okay? Because you're losing a lot of money by not investing more. That's a fact.
Just that a lot of us are holding on to a dream. I've played Pokemon throughout the generations, and ironically, as I've said before, they really struggle to evolve. We didn't even need great graphics back in the day. When I was a kid, it was black and white and little itty bitty sprites, and I still had an absolute blast. But at this point, I would almost rather they just go back to doing sprites.
Yup. I was thinking about saying that, but it was, you know, past the point that he was talking about graphic stuff, so it wasn't really the good opportunity. But now he said it again, and I 100% agree. I 100% agree, because like I said, the Diamond remake, I like that. The Diamond remake looked good. I really liked how that looked. Whatever they're doing with the new games, the 3D ones, are fucked, okay? That, like, the fact that PS2 games are looking better than the Switch games, that's embarrassing, okay?
Because that's seemingly what they do best. Desperate for answers, I thought maybe ChatGPT would know. And I asked her. And the answer she gave me was so painfully, abundantly obvious that it was staring me straight in the face the whole time, and I just couldn't see it. This is what
was the question?
ChatGPT said.
Pokemon sells regardless of quality. Even when Pokemon games launch with issues, they still break record sales. Game Freak may not feel the need to expand drastically if the current model continues to be profitable. Scarlet and Violet sold over 22 million copies despite performance issues, so the financial incentive to increase staff significantly isn't there.
She then goes on to say,
could Game Freak expand? Yes, they could hire more developers to improve technical quality, but that...
Listen, man, how are people literally boycotting McDonald's because they seemingly support some side of the war, of a war that is irrelevant to the majority of the world? But people are not boycotting Game Freak for pumping out shit after shit after shit after shit. Like, this is where you put your money, bruh. No money is going to the war. You're not paying for that shit. Not directly, at least. But this is what you buy. This is what your entertainment is. This is what your fan base. This is what your love for this franchise is. How are people not upset about this? How are people defending this? Oh, but it looks good. It looks great. Yeah, it looks better than before. Yeah, because the last game looked like fucking garbage. It's not really hard to improve on garbage. Like, oh my days, man. I can't believe it.
Collaborative approach, fast turnaround, and cost efficiency seem to be priorities over AAA scale productions. Unless Pokemon fans stop buying the games.
Yes.
Game Freak probably
Stop
won't
it.
feel pressured to
Stop buying the games. Stop it. Stop buying these awful goddamn games. Please. I beg of you, please stop buying these awful games, okay? You know, if you like Pokemon, there's plenty of free-to-play online Pokemon games that gives you not only good-looking gameplay, better animations, and more difficult content. Okay? There's like maybe not hundreds, but like a bunch of like free-to-play Pokemon games that are made by fans for fans that are significantly better than whatever the fuck Game Freak is shitting out on your plate. Okay? Please just play those games. Alright? If you have like a Pokemon craving, play them, okay? I swear, if you are a hardcore Pokemon fan who loves Pokemon, play those games, okay? Don't play this shit. Don't play these games. They are awful, they look awful, and it's honestly insulting that they're getting away with this. Alright?
Grow too much.
And she's right. I'm gonna buy the new game because I'm a giant hypocrite and I'm not part of the problem. I am the problem. But
I mean, the reason why he buys the game is not entirely the same reason on why an average Joe would buy the game, right? Because he's a content creator. It's like, you know, whenever somebody is like very upset about the new Assassin's Creed, right? And he buys the game to, you know, show the game how bad it actually is. And then, you know, he reinforces every single opinion he already had about the game even more, right? He's gonna buy this game. He's gonna play it. He's gonna stream it maybe. He's gonna make videos about it. He's gonna make profit. And the average Joe is gonna play it, maybe like it, or hate it, and wasted their money. Alright? You're not getting that money back, alright? You're not gonna get money back from enjoying a game unless you're streaming it or like monetizing it in some other you know, way, right? So I don't really think it's the same thing as content creators buying something that they're critical about or saying is trash compared to the average Joe buying the game that is trash.
at least I can accept it. You know, I guess I could have just asked ChatGPT that to begin with and saved days of time writing this script, but
No.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to end this video and I'm gonna present it the way they wrote it. Plagiarism. Is it?
At the end of the day, Pokemon games may always look a little rough around the edges. But hey, as long as they keep selling like red candies on the black market, Game Freak have no reason to change. So until the day that Pikachu's cheeks has RTX lighting and a wild Bidoof doesn't drop to 5 FPS, we'll just have to accept that the Pokemon franchise is the biggest in the world, running off of nostalgia and a dream. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what's the worst looking Pokemon moment that you've seen. I'll catch you in the next one.
Wow, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was a pretty good outro. It's almost like you wrote it. Anyway, that was the video reinforcing my agenda about this new up-and-coming game, and that it's garbage, and that it's awful, and that nobody should buy it, and that all my criticism that I got in that video are completely valid, because guess what? It's not just some small channel with only only 6,000 subscribers. No. This man has 1.82 million. This is not just my opinion trying to rage bait or getting views or getting, well, you're not getting likes on rage baiting, but traction or whatever. I didn't make that video because of it. I just wanted to see what the brand new Pokemon game was gonna be. Then I watched the trailer, and then I gave my honest opinion, and that's it. That's what I do on this channel. I give my honest opinion. Every single time when I see a comment saying, oh, it's rage bait. No. I just have a controversial opinion that some people just can't accept. That's why you think it's rage bait. Alright? I never rage bait. I've never done it. I'll never do it. I don't like it. I don't clickbait either. I don't like clickbaiting. I am an honest person and I don't like lying. Okay? Can we just please stop these stupid, ignorant comments saying that I do clickbait, that I rage bait, just because I have an opinion that doesn't support yours or that you don't agree with mine. Can we just please stop doing that? Okay? Cool. Alright. Anyway, that being said, let me know what you think about this video and about my reaction. Leave a like, subscribe. And that's about it. Take care. Ooh, that was a long video, man. That was a long video that I did not expect this video to be this long. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I got all my opinions across. I love it. Hell yeah. All right. Great video, bro. Glad someone is finally saying the same things I've said. Perfect. Huge. Alright, that was the first video. That was rather long. That was rather long, yeah. Alright. Alright. Let's okay, this is a short video.
There are certain fundamental truths.
This is a shorter video. Okay, cool. Short video. Okay, cool. All right. You know the deal. Recording in 3, 2, 1. What's good, YouTube? Yo, welcome to a video about the brand new Snow White adaptation, and a lot of people are criticizing it, a lot of people are critical about it, and are generally not a fan of it. But obviously there's also people that are a fan of it or defending it, and that's always the case, you know. Some people are just stupid and ignorant, and they don't want to, you know, how you say this, understand where your criticism is coming from, and they just label you as either a racist or a misogynistic piece of shit or anything else that, you know, invalidates every single opinion that you brought up. So yeah, cool. We're gonna watch a video about somebody talking about the brand new Snow White, and yeah, let's go. I'm excited. Let's get it.
There are certain fundamental truths about this world which are so universal that anyone, no matter their race, colour or creed, can pretty much agree on them. 1. Never trust a post-Vindaloo fart. 2. Spreadable butter isn't. 3. Anytime a woman starts a sentence with, "a real man would," you know.
Yeah, women should stop saying "real men would," or say anything that men should do. All right, we can't say anything about women having to do something because that's misogynistic. But the moment a woman says something like that, should be considered misandristic, suddenly that's okay. All right, we gotta stop it. You gotta stop you. All right, from now on, whenever a woman says something that a man should do, you're gonna stop her right there before she gets any other word out and saying, "That's misandrist, shut the fuck up." Alright, let's do that. Let's start doing that.
You're about to hear some weapons-grade retardation. And to that not-so-illustrious list, we can add that the Snow White live-action remake was, without a doubt, one of the worst ideas in the whole history of entertainment. Possibly the most predictable of all failures, a project conceived for all the wrong reasons, starring all the wrong people, pushing all the wrong messages, and telling the entirely wrong story. After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around it for what feels like decades now, it was actually kinda weird to finally sit down and just watch this thing. Like meeting a celebrity after following their career for years. Not a good kind of celebrity, like. More like a Jimmy Savile kind of celebrity. The kind that you're discreetly warned never to get into a lockable room alone with.
Damn.
But here it is, nonetheless. And now that I've finally suffered through nearly 2 hours of Snow White, I can confidently tell you that, yeah.
Ah, woman!
But here it is, nonetheless. And now that I've finally suffered through nearly 2 hours of Snow White, I can confidently tell you that, yes, this film absolutely lived up to all my worst expectations, and in some cases even exceeded them. A bloated, overstuffed turkey of a production, weighed down by hammy acting, cheap costumes, horrendous CGI, and vomit-inducing cinematography that bungles most of the elements it steals from the original animated movie, abandons its classic ideals of self-sacrifice, heroism, and true love, and injects the lethal dose of the message, which is so redundant and thematically contradictory that it just gets abandoned by the ends. It's also laughably obvious where they've had to reshoot and rewrite big chunks of this movie in response to all the backlash. Entire subplots, characters, and setups are introduced and then abandoned without explanation, and the ending is so wildly anticlimactic and jarring that it makes World War Z look like a model of cinematic efficiency.
Damn!
Anyway, let's get the plot summary over with so we can put this turd behind us. The basic setup for Snow White is broadly similar to the original film. Snow White herself is born to the benevolent king and queen of a generic medieval fantasy land that tactfully goes unnamed.
Huh? Really? I don't remember that origin story. Although, you know, last time I watched Snow White, I was probably like 3 years old, so, you know, I could, you know, not remember that.
Although, fuck me, they must have pretty good transportation links with the rest of the world, because the population here is more ethnically diverse than central London. Anyway, Snow White's mum dies and her dad remarries Gal Gadot, who manipulates him into going off to war, where he promptly disappears and is never seen again. Oh no, guess she's gonna have to take control of everything. What a bind. Fast forward a few years and the kingdom's become a kind of dystopian nightmare where everyone's poor and hopeless and ruled over by an iron-fisted tyrant. It's a bit like modern-day Britain, only with better sanitation and dental care. Anyway, after a confrontation with Snow White over a bandit named Jonathan who tried to steal some food from the castle, the evil queen decides the best thing to do is send her out into the forest where the huntsman can conveniently murder her. It's a bit extreme, but I'll let it slide. Naturally, the huntsman has second thoughts and decides to let her go, and after wandering alone for a while, she runs into 7 dwarves that I can only describe as the kind of thing that Cthulhu probably has nightmares about. I'm not kidding.
I don't really agree. I think the dwarves look okay. I don't think they look that bad.
Man, the brief glimpses that you got of these things in the trailers are absolutely nothing compared to the existential horror of actually witnessing them on the big screen. These are nightmares made real. Like if you woke up in the middle of the night and saw Mr. Blobby standing at the foot of your bed, silent, motionless, watching you with those blank, lifeless eyes that bore into your very soul. So after crashing at their house for a while, eating their food and helping herself to all of their resources, Snow White helpfully forces them to clean up their own home while she prances around like she's on some mad acid trip. Which she probably is, to be fair. I would be if I was in this fucking movie. Then for some reason she gets it into her head that her dad must still be alive, and the only way to find him is to seek out the bandits that lurk in the forests.
Right.
So naturally,
What? Okay.
she runs into Jonathan about 5 minutes after leaving the house so that the rest of the plot can happen, and
Convenient.
protects her from the evil queen's soldiers by taking an arrow that was meant for her, so she brings him back to the dwarves to get fixed up. Oh yeah, you know those retarded looking Starbucks baristas from those early set pictures that everyone thought were the dwarves? Well, those are the bandits, who are actually out of work actors forced to become thieves because the evil queen's taxation policies shut down their entire industry. Is that a reference to something? Is that a reference to something?
Is that a reference to something?
No idea. Anyway, Jonathan decides to lure the Queen's soldiers away to give Snow White time to escape, and then immediately gets captured because he's a bumbling idiot. And the evil Queen decides that she's had enough of this shit. Frankly, one sympathizes. So she turns herself into an old hag and manipulates Snow White into eating a poisoned apple that makes her go a bit dead. But that's okay because Jonathan escapes prison so that the rest of the plot can happen, and gives her the world's least passionate kiss, which brings her back to life so that she can begin her cunning plan to overthrow the Queen and take back her kingdom. freedom. Do you want to know what that plan is? Are you ready for the 4th dimensional quantum mega chess that she
Let's
plays
see.
here that would probably give Christopher Nolan a brain hemorrhage? Well, she walks into town and then convinces the soldiers to turn against the evil queen because she can remember their names.
Wow. That's a great plan. It's funny, it mentions the character Jonathan shortly after I show up. The character Jonathan? Oh, King John? I get it. Okay, yeah. Coincidence, man.
Really?
I'm not kidding, that's her plan. So the evil queen gets mad and smashes the magic mirror and then turns into black glass and shatters, and Snow White becomes the new queen, and that's it, they all live happily ever
Wait,
after.
really?
Now, there's a lot I want to say about this movie, but first, let us begin with the positives.
Wait, that's literally the end? What? That's insane. This is the first film in the entire Kingdom Hearts series, and she is horribly pathetic. Yeah, man, what the hell?
And as hard as it might be to believe, most of them actually concern Rachel Zegler.
No way!
Now, don't get me wrong, she might be an obnoxious arsehole in the real world, but credit where credit's due here, she actually isn't terrible as Snow White.
It's not true! That's impossible!
I mean, her outfit looks like it cost like $100 off Amazon, her haircut makes Anton Chigurh like a cutting-edge trailblazer, her performance is a bit over the top and theatre kid at times, and her American accent comes and goes depending on whether or not she's in a reshoot, but I do get the impression she's at least trying to do her best with the material, and she can absolutely belt out the musical numbers, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a trained vocalist. The same cannot be said for Gal Gadot, however. It genuinely pains me to say this, but I think we all need to come to the acceptance that that girl cannot fucking act. It takes a special kind of charisma, presence, and dramatic range to play a good Disney villain, and well, Gal Gadot doesn't have it. Her delivery somehow manages to be wooden and scenery chewing at the same time, and when she has to deliver a big musical number, you can pinpoint the exact moment where they swap out her voice with someone who can actually sing.
Oof. You want to do some writer stuff? Nah, man.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Jonathan is yet another entry into the bumbling, forgettable, non-threatening male sidekick list of modern-day Disney heroes. There's brief moments where it seems like he might be displaying the tiniest bit of attitude and heroism, but then it's immediately squashed to reinforce the idea that men are all just a bit useless. Visually, the film's an inconsistent mess.
Yeah, that was their like piece, you know, to like make people excited for the film, that she doesn't get saved by the prince. That she's an independent woman that can save herself. That was the whole thing that she was going for. He was so happy about that. Yeah, and what do you know? People didn't like that.
Yes, CGI Cthulhu nightmares aside, the colour scheme ranges from bleak washed-out grey castles and towns that look like Zack Snyder directed it, to a kind of over-the-top golden yellow piss filter for the CGI woodland scenes that's so excessive it actually makes your eyes start to hurt after a while. It's funny as well because there's like one scene that was filmed on location in a real forest, and the contrast between that and the CGI fantasy version is so jarring, I actually thought the action had shifted to a whole different country. Also, you can absolutely tell this movie's been reshot to fuck. The kiss scene where Jonathan brings Snow White
Oh, that was a bad green screen. Ooh.
version is so jarring, I actually thought the action had shifted to a whole different country. Also, you can absolutely tell this movie's been reshot to fuck. The kiss scene
Oh, God. That looks terrible.
where Jonathan brings Snow White back to life was absolutely added in later to try to appease fans of the original. Snow White herself has clearly been toned down in places to make her less obnoxious, and I'd be willing to bet about 90% of the bandits' screen time has been cut. Most of them don't even get a single line of dialogue, which once again had me questioning, why the fuck are they even in this movie?
Probably because they already got paid or promised a role, and then they got recasted because people couldn't accept that dwarves, that people, you know, that had dwarfism were playing dwarves in in the film. So they decided, you know what, let's make CGI dwarves instead. Because people couldn't stomach the fact that people with dwarfism could embrace their birth defects and take advantage of it. Because somehow that was offensive to them. Yeah. Very stupid.
I think the biggest problem, though, is the ending. The original movie had the dwarves battling the evil queen to save Snow White, reinforcing the idea of reciprocal kindness and redemption, but here Snow White has to resolve everything by herself, and
because she a girl boss, bro. She a girl boss. She don't need no man. She don't need no one. Because she's her, man. She's the baddest bitch around.
the result is that none of the other groups or factions have anything to do. Both the bandits and the dwarves, and even Jonathan, just kind of stand around watching the whole thing play out, and I couldn't help wondering, what is the film even trying to show us here? Snow White as a character seems to be all about equity and shared responsibility. Rather than privilege and greedy self-interest, but when it comes to the crunch, she ends up having to do basically everything herself, which negates the very point the movie's been trying to make for the past 2 hours. It's this fundamental inability to understand what it's even trying to say, beyond the crushingly tired princess who saves herself trope that's now become the very cliche it worked so hard to overturn that proves to be the film's real undoing. In short, Snow White is a modern day mess, a film that's basically been a disaster from start to finish, and now that it's finally out there and I've reviewed it, it's something I'm very much looking forward to tossing on the ash heap of history. Do yourself a big old favour, save yourself some time and money, and go watch the original instead.
Yep.
Weird.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Alright, well that was the video about the new Snow White. I can't wait until they're gonna make a even worse Cinderella live action. And you already know that's gonna happen eventually. That's gonna happen, bro. They're gonna make a Cinderella. They're gonna make a new Tangled. Like, let's be honest, bro. It's gonna happen. For one of the first Disney princesses, why did they choose a name almost similar to mine? Just move the H. Princess? Major problem with not having any stories. Every female character has to be strong in some way, and it's dumb. No, you can make a good, powerful female in a story. It's just that they are making other people worthless to make the female character seem stronger than she actually is. So it's like, whenever you have a female character and a male character, right? And let's say they are in some situation where obviously the male character would easily, solve it, right? Maybe like something strength related or something, right? But instead, they make the male get injured. So the female character needs to do the role of the male character. And for some reason, the female character does it better than the male character would realistically do. That's kind of how they make films nowadays with like these girl bosses. And one good example I got for a well-written female character is always Elizabeth from Pirates of the Caribbean. I think since then, like Disney, Tangled was a really good character too. But Disney just doesn't really know how to write female characters, man. And it shows in this film. It really shows. 10 times better than this shit? Yeah, man. For real. Anyway, that was this video. Let me know what you thought about the video, what you thought about my reaction. Leave a like and subscribe. That's about it. Take care. Alright, that was the Snow White video. Alright. What's next? Ooh. Let's go for this one. Of course, I had to get screwed over by bad advertisements. I really hope we get a sequel. Sequel. Oh, sequel. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna get a sequel, to be honest. Like, they ruined this franchise. This whole, like, the name of Snow White permanently. I'm afraid. So, yeah. Oh, Transformers? I've never never watched any Transformers films. It's like with the robots that become cars, right? Yeah, I never really watched that. It's good. All right. I'm not really a movie kind of guy, but I'll keep it in mind whenever I'm bored or something. All right. Recording in 3, 2, 1. What's good, YouTube? Yo, welcome back to a video from my girl, Alterio. Still don't know how to pronounce her name. But I really like her videos, so we're gonna watch another one of hers. And this is about the whole female-only gym controversy that you might have seen on Twitter. It's stupid. Personally, I think it's very dumb. But it's got dumber, because now not only did they make incels mad that think that female-only gyms are ridiculous, they now made the mentally retarded men mad that think they're female, because she says that trans men or trans women, I don't know what the difference is, aren't allowed in the women only gym. So yeah, cool, this is gonna be great. Can't wait. It's gonna be a shit show. Let's go. Let's hop in.
What do you mean you're going to have the idea for a women's only gym base, but when it comes time to actually opening, you're going to backtrack and say it's for biologically born women only?
Yeah, that's kind of what's in the name. It's called women only gym. A woman is an adult female. All right, it's very clear cut. This whole nonsense about gender and sex being a different thing is completely ridiculous. All right, so it's in the name. Women only gym. Okay? Anyway, continue.
I'm gonna lie, Natalie, I want money back.
Now, people are flaming this woman, and many people might not know what the hell's going on. I'm a little bit late to this as well.
Why
She
you keep
apparently was
getting
inspiration
my
for a
captions?
lot of people, but she came on my radar when she posted some video about men. And I didn't even realize that she was the same girl who did this really cute video where a guy didn't know he was being recorded, and she was very kind to him and let it.
Oh, that's her. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I've seen that video. That's a wholesome video. I like seeing like gym videos where somebody is like doing something ridiculous and then my boy shows up, you know, Mr. Damn it, I forgot his name. The bald guy, right? We always had like this cap backwards and he's roasting these like individuals that don't have gym etiquette. Love that guy. Anyway, I didn't even know that. Cool.
Him know that it's okay. She just wanted him to be aware that the camera was there, even though
How considerate.
I do think it's very annoying in general to have cameras at the gym because not everybody wants to be recorded. But I do think that she handled that situation very well.
Yeah, but that's just on the gym. If the gym prohibits cameras, then you know, then you shouldn't do it. But if the gym says you can film, you can't complain about getting filmed. You know, if you don't like it, go to a different gym that, you know, doesn't allow it. There's plenty of gyms that don't allow it. So, yeah.
But then as of late, videos have been cropping up about her talking badly about men and saying, well, it's always men that do this, and she wants to start a female-only gym, which, you know what, power to you. I don't really blame her, because the truth is, there are people who have been victimized by men, and they made me feel shy or scared still that, you know, it might happen to them again. Not to say all men do this, and I only have a problem when people claim that this is the case. And it came off as her doing exactly that, which was one of the things that put me off to this whole thing. Even still, I still think it's within her right to create the women's only gym. But
personally, I don't really care about this whole thing. About like, oh yeah, it's always men, always this, all men this, all men that. Or no, I don't care. I think it's stupid. I mean, I care. I actually care. Yeah, I think you can generalize a whole different section of human and call them all monsters. I think that's wrong. I think that you shouldn't do it. I think you should be specific about gym creeps. All right, you should be specific about saying weird people or bad people. All right, even if they are men or not, doesn't matter. Okay, I don't think you should like tarnish somebody's reputation for what they have been born as. I think that's very wrong, sexist, whatever, right? Anyway, I don't think it's within her rights at all for making a female-only gym, because that would be against the law. However, the reason why these women-only gyms are allowed and male-only gyms aren't is because they have this, like, oh, it's for safety reasons, and that's when they can like penetrate the law in their favor, and then they get, you know, approved of making these very sexist centric you know, buildings, right? Because obviously if you would make some building or like something that you can like some organization or like a gym, and you say only men, right? Let's say that lawfully you cannot do that. It's against the law to discriminate on somebody's sex, right? Just like it's against the law to discriminate based on somebody's race. However, the reason why female-only gyms exist and male-only gyms can't is because safety reasons, and that's something that can like blur the lines for laws which make it available or make it possible for these women to make these specific organizations or buildings or gyms, right? Personally, I think it's weird. I would say, you know what, why don't you just have a building that have more security or something, like, you know, or like have better, like have more people looking out for like weird gym creeps or weird behavior or something like that, or just, you know, reinforce rules better to say like, oh, this guy, you know, he harassed me and I want him gone, and then they hear both stories, and you know, and then they can, well, obviously that takes a lot of time and money, and I get it, you know, that's not really helpful, especially if they can't find good proof. You know, there's a lot of bad reasons or hard really hard to like prove these things, right? So that's why they're going with only female gyms, right? Anyway, but personally I think these things shouldn't be allowed to exist simply because it's against the law. But that's just me. All right,
let's hear some of what she had to say, starting from about 4 years ago.
Okay, so the first point I want to make regarding men is that men feel very, very entitled. They feel entitled to get your number, they feel entitled to speak to you, to get your Snapchat, your Instagram.
No, we don't. I'm gonna cut you off right there. We don't. The men you're talking about are what I would describe as the barbaric men. And those are the people that feel entitled. Those are the people that feel superior. Those are the people that think that they deserve your number. Trust me, that's like a small subgroup of men. Those are not the majority of men. All right? So don't generalize us, all right? We're not going to generalize women either. So why is it okay to generalize these women or these men, but when it goes the other way, suddenly there's a big issue about saying, oh, all women are gold diggers and whores and sluts and, you know, all those kinds of things, which I don't agree with, by the way. All right, just want to clarify that. But It's just very telling that this hypocrisies keep going on and on and on and on. And all of they have to say like, oh, well, it's true. Like, no, it's not true. Okay, that's your experience. It's factually not true.
To look at you, absolutely anything.
I do agree. There are some men that...
For an hour? What the fuck?
Chat. I haven't gotten a single comment. Not a comment, fuck. I haven't gotten a single donation, a single sub. For every single year I've been streaming. What the fuck, guys? I've been working for free. Like, this is so stupid, man. Holy. An hour. I'm working an hour for free. Well, bitch, get a real job then. If your whole thing about streaming is to make money, like, it's not a profitable business, bro. That's only... Oh, my phone fell. It's only the lucky ones, man. And if you act like this, you're definitely not getting there. Look how shocked she is.
An hour when I fucking working for free? What the fuck?
You're not special.
Let's not make this just a woman and man thing, even though as time goes on, the pendulum kind of skews back and forth. But yes, you have entitled people out there.
Yep.
Equating it and just broad stroking it as being a whole gender or sex, that's just crazy. And that's honestly where you probably start to lose people. And stuff that she says like this is one of the reasons why I wasn't really on board with her whole ideology and the female gym thing, because if men were to come out nowadays and try to make a male-only gym, women would cry discrimination and say that men are trying to exclude them from spaces when women are allowed to have their own spaces. I do agree that men should be allowed to have their own spaces as well. But so,
although, like I said, the law also doesn't permit both. But like I already said, female-only gyms are created on like the basis of being security or like anti-dangerous for them, like safety-wise, and that's why they can wiggle through the law like some lizard.
so long as we're not doing a double standard and both people can have their own spaces where they can say, hey, no women allowed, and women can say no men allowed, then it's completely fine. I just think it's very misleading and very disingenuous or highly biased for her to state that men do this as if it is all men. And I know people get upset. I did a video on this recently when people are like, well, don't say all men. But that's exactly what you're saying when you just leave it at men full stop.
I was at the gym, I've been going to gym for 3 years, so it was one of those times between these 3 years, and I was in the corner and a guy came over to me, and like, he was, I'm like 5'5", yeah, between 5'5" and 5'6", and he was about 6 foot and he was really big, and I was in the corner and he came up to me, and like, it's only because I saw his reflection in the mirror, so he came up to me like behind me, and he's like, excuse me, and I turned around. So bear in mind, I'm in the corner, yeah, I'm in the corner, like, he's like, excuse me, and I was like, can you step back? And he was like why? I was thinking, first of all, if I tell you to step back, why are you asking me why should I step back? You're like 6 foot, I'm like 5'5", and you've got me in the corner. I was like, step back. So he stepped back. So he was like to me, oh, like, what's your name? I was like, I'm not trying to talk to anyone.
I do agree that person was exhibiting highly creepy behavior. If someone is asking, hey, can you please...
I mean, I don't really say it's creepy. It's more like weird. It's like he comes in like, excuse me, and then she turns around and apparently it was really close or something. Maybe he didn't realize that, right? And I don't know how she said, can you move back a little bit? It could have been very crude or rude or very agitative, which would, make somebody less likely to, adhere to your requests. But that's speculation, of course, right? Let's say she was very, you know, polite, like the gentleman was, as she said in the story. But excuse me. And he didn't do it. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. But he is allowed to say why. He's allowed to ask why. And if you say, oh, well, you know, you're kind of tall, and I feel kind of intimidated, and a normal, reasonable man would say, oh, my bad. I didn't want to, you know, make you uncomfortable. That's how regular, normal people act, okay? And if his response is like, oh, who cares? Then, yeah. Then, you know, you ask for help or something. I don't know. Right? Like, then you have, like, a different issue, right? But it's just very telling that this is how this woman and a lot of other women generalize men because they have bad behavior, bad experiences with men. But obviously, the only men that that actually approach you, that you have an issue with, are the one that you're gonna have issues with, because they are the kind of people that are going to engross into your personal space. They're going to be either disrespectful, they're gonna be either very impolite or very pushy because they want to, like, I don't know, get your number or whatever, right? Or they want to, like, interact with you in some levels that you might not be comfortable or wanting to. Those are the men you're going to come across. Those are the men that you're going to remember. Those are the kind of men that you're going to encounter the most of the time. Because the people that you aren't going to have problems with aren't going to bother you. Do you understand that? You have a recency bias because the only men you interact with are the problematic ones. You get me? Anyway, go on.
You step back, ask why later. Or just be like, okay, well, maybe this person doesn't want to talk. Read the room. Is it a man thing? There are a lot of people who do not get body language.
Correct.
There are a lot of women I've met that can't take a hint, read the room, or read body language either. Just like all the women that are like, oh my God, someone's looking at me. Oh my God, he wants to, like, devour me, and they're not looking anywhere in your direction. It's called being an asshole. And it's not exclusive to just one sex. For example, in this video by Joey Swole, this woman...
Joey Swole, that's his name. Yeah, what a legend, bro. Huge fan of him.
Is so high on herself that she thinks that somebody just walking past her is an issue. And I thought she was making a joke.
Whore. Look at her dress, bro. She's dressing as a whore. I don't care. If you're gonna dress like this, you have no opinions there, fella. I'm sorry.
Like, the guy was like, what the F is wrong with this woman? But at the bottom of the caption, you can see, she says, I tried to stay composed. Did I succeed? What exactly were you trying to...
You succeeded at looking as a whore. That's what you succeeded in. Other than that, you're just an asshole. You're just a dickhead. You're just an entitled bitch. That's what you are. Alright?
Accomplish with this. You look fucking cringe. Ew. No one was even looking at you. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And a lot of people have this bias where they think that women can do no wrong. And the reason why I specify it being
pretty privilege. It's a thing. People want to deny it, but it's a thing, alright? Pretty privilege is a real thing. And it's something that that mentally, you know, makes people act differently.
Women is because men call out other men, and yes, women do call out other women, especially now they're starting to do that more, but in the media it's more excusable when a woman does bad behavior and shit on what a guy does, but if a guy were to do the same thing with a woman doing the same behavior, he's sexist. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because I said, well, I can't get your number. Like, are you deaf? I said, I'm not trying to talk to anyone. This is what I mean by entitlement. Men think that they are very entitled to speak to you regardless of the circumstance. Now, I think that our gym experiences as females, it's going to take a lot for it to change because of how men are, and you can't change people. How people are is how people are, and I genuinely believe that. So I think the main goal when it comes to improving our experiences in the gym is increasing our confidence. Now, I'm a very confident person, kind of in general, and particularly when it comes to the gym. So when I have to deal with men in the gym, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I'll talk to them a certain way, I'll deal with them a certain way because I'm not intimidated by them. And I think that's what's made my gym experience a lot easier because if I tell you to step back, you're stepping back kind of thing.
Yes, and water is extremely wet. This is with anybody. Listen, If you live out in the real world, whether it be from men or women, you are going to have to learn the ability to socialize, to open up your mouth and say when you want something or when you don't want something. Now, granted, there are situations where you might not do exactly those things, or you can't always follow that guideline because you're trying to de-escalate a situation. And I completely understand that. I've been in those situations too. But if you're going out to a social place like a gym, then yes, those people, men and women, should be respectful of you. That man was an asshole.
Yep.
It's not men, it's that dude.
Yep.
That dude particularly. You do know that there are women that go up to men in the gym as well. But it's not something that people really talk about, because if a woman approaches a man, you know, he just takes up stride and like, oh, okay, even the guys that have girlfriends and stuff, the girls will try to hit on them. It's a whole thing. No one really talks about it. And I understand why there's more of a stigma, because men are stronger than women. So they can be more threatening than women. I do understand that. And I understand why some females might be, you know, a little bit weirded out if they're getting cornered by a guy, especially if they're like a victim of assault or something. I completely understand.
Yeah, trauma is definitely something that could really warp your reality. You know, fear is a very dangerous drug. The moment you have ingested any like sort of fear in your life for specific kind of scenarios or specific kind of people, your reality will warp into a fight or flight situation the moment you encounter some situation or some person that you had that experience, that fear response on, right? Like, psychologically that should make sense, right? But I don't think that she is somebody like that, because the way she talks about them is not like she's afraid. It's more like, how dare you talk to me? It's very condescending. It's like when she said like, step back, you should step back. Like, bitch, you're not the boss of me, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I think she's very, very arrogant. And like she said, oh, I'm a very confident woman. No, I think you're just very arrogant. I think you think you're better than others. That's why your reality seems you're the good guy here, when in essence, you know, you're not. Now, you weren't at fault at this specific scenario, right? I think the situation that you you know, encountered, or actually not encountered, that you described, and let's say, you know, this situation actually, you know, happened, right? Because I like to believe people whenever they talk about these kind of things. But let's say this situation happened, right? Then you always can do better. I'm not saying others' behaviors, you know, you can't criticize others' behaviors, but there's always a way where you could have acted better than you did, right? And that's not shaming or like anything like that. That's just a fact. Because sometimes you come into a situation and you completely, you know, misunderstand the situation or the intentions of someone, and you you know, you react a little bit too severe than you should have, right? And also the whole thing about her like describing the situation, this is her perspective. What if we have the different, you know, scenario, or the different side of the story from the dude? What if all he did was just, you know, come close, so, you know, he would be in talking distance, and for her that would be too much, right? We don't know if she was standing like, what, let's say she was standing right here, right? And this guy is standing right here. Let's say this was the real scenario, right? And she said, you're too close, right? Because she didn't say he was here. She didn't specify on where he was standing. So that's also another scenario, or another like very important detail in the story that is just lacking in us, for us to understand what the actual situation was about, right? And that's why I don't want to just instantly believe people. I just want to be very critical about that, because people lie. All right? That's a inherent truth. People lie, especially if they want to prove a point. they're not gonna tell the truth if a lie would reinforce their agendas or their motives. They're gonna lie so to make it even more believable. You know? Now, I'm not saying she lied. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I don't believe her because I don't have enough evidence to believe her. But that's just how I, react to situations. I like to have both truths before I can make a solid, educated guess on who is in the wrong and who wasn't. That's what the court also does.
Understand that. But those are those individuals. I think it's also important to note that there are men out there that are not like this. And if your whole rhetoric is just men full stop, men are this, men are that, it sets a very bad precedent, and people don't really want to support you because it comes off as you being sexist. Where it might come from a good place,
No, it doesn't come from a good place. The moment you generalize a gender or race or anything other than something that people are not in control of, that is not a good point. That's never a good argument, and it will never be something that will fall, that people will take as something non-offensive. Especially if you are grouped in that specific, how do I call it? That specific scenario or generalization, right?
It ends up coming off like you're just being hateful. For example, if a guy only had bad experiences with women and then he uses, those podcasts where they bring in the worst examples of women and then uses those as examples to say, you see women how they are? Fucking women, am I right? So entitled and shit, these freaking women, and he has a platform and he is doing this to try and raise awareness or, market his business or what have you. It's going to set the precedent that, all women are bad. So people are going to see them through that light. And then when people call him out on it, say sexist, well, obviously I didn't mean all women. But then after that, he just continues generalizing them all the time.
Yeah.
And those are the only examples he'll use. And he'll never call out when other guys do things that are wrong. Or if guys do something blatantly wrong, he'll take the guy's side and say, well, the women must have done something. And it's like,
yeah, but that's what the other side also does. Women defend other women, and men will defend other men. That's just how it works. All right. The moment somebody victimizes a man of something that that isn't very provable, they'll defend the men, especially if they have experience with women being lying about certain stuff. Like, they will be very skeptical and they'll trust something they know, and that is a man. They're more close to a man, so they trust that more easily. Just like when black people, they will believe another black person before they believe another white person. That doesn't mean they're racist. That just means that they are, they have a more mental connection to that person compared to the other. It's just they're more similar than they are different. So that's why they would easily trust somebody more than they would trust somebody else. And that's just psychology. That's just a very human thing to do. We will trust things that we know, and we don't trust things that we don't know, or we know less.
Bro, you can't just be on one side of the equation and expect people to think that you're a decent human being and, to believe anything you say at that point, because now you're being disingenuous. So that's something that kind of put me off with the things that she has said. So we fast forward to her making this gym for women.
Oh man, but it'll always be a man. I hate these comments are so telling, man. No, man, but it'll always be a man. Yeah, because men are inherently more aggressive than women are. If men were more dominant than or if women were more dominant than men, this would be completely opposite. Women destroy other people's life by socially destroying them, and men are destroying people physically, in general. right? They are in general more likely to use violence, physical violence, and women are in general more likely to use social destruction. They have more power in their words than they have in their physical ability to hurt somebody. So that's why they use that tactic instead of physical violence. Men are physically more prone, so they will use physical violence instead of their words, because it's less effective. Especially for men. Men don't really care about what other people say about them. If they have any sort of like either integrity or any sort of like ego or something like that, right? Like some very strong feeling and no like hatred against themselves, they don't care, bro. If they are confident in who they are, somebody can say whatever the fuck they want about him, he's not gonna give a shit. But the moment you're gonna pull out somebody who cares about, that's when shit goes down.
It is always going to be a man. I'll repeat that. It is always going to be a man. And
it's always going to be a woman that's scantily dressed in a gym. How about you buy some sweatpants that go to your fucking knees instead of that shit being on the top of your fucking hip? How about you actually buy a top that fits you? Like, it's so dumb, bruh. Like, I don't want to be objectified. Meanwhile, they wear this. What do you expect?
I never want to hear, it's not all men ever again, because it is fucking enough of them. Yes, it's not my dad, it's not my brother, it's not my boyfriend, but it will fundamentally always be a man. Because even when men come across women-only spaces, knowing they aren't welcome, they'll still find a fucking way to ruin it. And as a women's-only gym owner, this
women do the same thing. Men have a good thing going. Men have specific spaces that, you know, were very beloved and very accepting. Looking at gaming, all right? The moment women entered these spaces, shit went to fuck. All right? Games became woke and garbage. Women start to complain about hot bitches in video games. Suddenly, hot bitches in video games started disappearing. Women do the same shit. All right? Like, I'm not going to defend either side, okay? I think both are bad, okay? I don't think... I think it's good that men and women have different kind of hobbies, different kind of facilities or opportunities or whatever, right? I think that's fine. I think that's good. I think as long as the person is willing to do something that they like, they should do it, right? And I also think that these spaces should be open to anyone. Doesn't matter your race, gender, whatever, right? But don't go into a space that you already hate, right? Or you already dislike, or you are already not a fan of, and try to change it because you think that would be better for you. Bitch, this is not your space. It's not made for you. It's not something you like already. And then you're gonna come in, insert yourself into this specific space or hobby or whatever, and try to ruin it. Even though we had a good thing going. But you had to get with your big fat ass into it. Stay out of people's business, bro. Stay out of like hobbies or spaces that you don't want to have any like interaction with. It's so dumb. And here this woman saying, "Oh, it's so telling. Men always interrupt women-only spaces." Yeah, women do the same thing, bro. I like recently there was like this post about I think this woman said something about like complimenting men, right? And there was like she asked what's your favorite compliment you've received as a man, right? And people men in the comments were coming up with all the compliments they got, and then some women came in talking about, like, I don't even know what they were saying, bro. It was just a bunch of gibberish. I couldn't even remember it. That's how retarded it was. Like, bro, this is not your opportunity to be fucking victimizing yourself. Oh yeah, but this happened to me. Bro, this was about men receiving what kind of compliments and what their favorite one was. It was not your time and space to talk about your issues. You have plenty of other like spaces and opportunities to talk about that shit. You do that all the fucking time. But the moment some men actually show up, open up about their problems, issues, maybe even being vulnerable, for God's sakes, there's always these stupid ass women that come in and ruin everything. It's not all women, but it's always a woman. Like, imagine if I said that shit. I'm not. I'm specifying the behavior that these women exhibit. I'm not saying women do this. I'm saying these specific women that exhibit these specific behaviors are fucking annoying and should shut the fuck up. It's very simple.
Shit terrifies me because I know that gym harassment and harassment in general far extends the four walls of a fucking gym, because there are men like that out there. And I think to myself, true, if I do this, am I doing enough? Will women still be safe? Will we still face the exact same fucking problems?
Okay, so my problem that I had with this was, first of all, bruh. But second of all,
I don't get punched enough? Jesus, I didn't even see that one.
Saying it is always going to be men, people repeating the phrase, not all man, but it will always be a man, that's just really confusing to me, because he ruined the experience. Maybe he was curious. Maybe that wasn't the thing to do. Maybe his wife was in there. There's not enough context given to this tiny clip that somebody put in there. Was he being creepy? Maybe. From what I saw in the clip, this guy is taking pictures. I don't know. Maybe he's gay. Maybe his wife was in there. Maybe he is there because his wife is like, hey, can you take a picture of what it looks like so that I can know? And he's like, okay, this is the facility. This is what it looks like inside.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a hornet nest. The moment something comes close to the nest, they retaliate with all ignorance. They don't care what it is, what the intention is. They retaliate. They'll see it's bad. This is wrong. We need to eliminate this. There's no coherent thinking whatsoever. There's no replacing themselves in other people's shoes at all in this situation. It's only focus on straight ignorance.
You know, whatever. We don't know anything. How can you just, from this little 2-second clip, decipher that the dude is creepy or that he means ill? And the thing is, I know people are going to get on me about this, but it's so ridiculous because I have done this. If I have an establishment and I'm like, okay, I want to show my husband or show someone, one of my friends, hey, this is what the establishment looks like. I will go up to the establishment, either take a picture of the hours, like the business hours.
It's still a public building. People are allowed to take pictures of it. Doesn't matter what kind of ill intent they have. Even if he's like making a picture, you know, messaging their boy, like, oh, look at this retarded bitch made an female only gym. Like, whatever, who cares? Who cares? He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Until he physically assaults you, then yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. He can do whatever he wants. It's a free country, bro.
Take a picture of the place where it is, go inside, take some internal pictures, and you know what else I do that for? Reviews. Because on Google Reviews and on some of these other sites where you get to review places, you can put pictures of the place so that they can update them on the maps and stuff. Like when you use Waze and whatnot.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Pictures of the facility, it gives people a better idea of what to look for if they're driving by and haven't seen the area before. So how can you decide that this man means evil just off a 2-second clip? Who is he? Why is he there? This is the kind of thing.
Why are you creepily taking pictures of this man taking pictures of something? Why are you taking pictures of him? He's not taking pictures of you. What gives you the right to take a picture of him? You know, that's the problem with this, man. Like they want to like solidify this like opinion and like this this bias against men by you know, exposing them by what they're doing, right? But you're just a stalker, bro. You're taking a picture of some random fucking guy on the streets. Ironically enough, you're criticizing him for doing the exact same thing outside of taking pictures of a real human being and just picturing a public fucking building. You're taking a picture of a whole ass human. What makes you... It's so dumb, man. Like, the logic here is just flawed.
I'm talking about, and you know what? I don't even feel sorry for this woman, because what I'm going to show you later that ends up happening is a clear example of hate begetting hate. She's not even calling out, oh, this man is doing something hateful. It's like you're hating just to hate. I would have found out, why is he doing this, first of all? What is the point?
No, you're minding your own business. That's what you do. You don't have to do this. You don't have to find out what he's doing, because that's none of your fucking business. You don't have to encroach into his life. He's taking a picture of this place for whatever reason. It's not gonna affect your life. If it's not gonna affect your life, fuck off.
And this kind of thing also breeds fear, because you are basically making women feel as though every man's activity is a reason for them to be afraid and has some kind of alternate agenda. This kind of thing is not good for women who are victims of assault, because now you're just heightening their reason to be ultra reactionary towards every freaking man possible. Not just wary or cautious to protect themselves, but just highly reactive.
For all you know, he Googled or like looked for gyms on Google Maps. He didn't read it correctly. He showed up, and then he's like, oh shit, this is a woman only gym. And then he showed that picture to his mates. It's like, oh bro, I looked up a gym and my dumbass didn't read it correctly, and now I'm in front of a female only gym. Ha ha ha, lol. Like, for all you know, that's what happened. Like, it's like, this is what either trauma or overthinking does, man. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, just mind your own business, you know? It's none of your business.
Kind of what the media does with ethnicity and the sexes and genders as well. This is not cool. So anyway, good for her. She starts her business, you know, make it be successful, whatever. I think it would be pretty ridiculous for them to be like, let's put guards outside, because someone was calling for that. Let's put guards outside of the establishment. I'm just curious, which guards would you feel safest with?
Ah, yes. Yeah, let's hire security guards. Let's hire security guards, women. Fellow women. Let's hire some security guards. And what are you going for? Ooh, I'm going for this guy that's like 6'11", big and bulky, very strong, very intimidating. Yes. Right, because all of a sudden you can differentiate what men are, what men can actually be trusted and which can't. Oh yeah, makes sense. Yeah, very funny.
To protect you against men, would it be female guards?
Absolutely not.
Because then wouldn't you be also putting them in the line of danger if a man were to come there and fuck them up? Or would you want another big 6'5" male bodyguard to protect you? You see, right. The double standard kind of gets weird, because I'm pretty sure all the women there would be like, oh, if it's a security guard and he's built like the freaking Reacher guy, then yes, I would feel safe. But if it's someone like me who's a 5'2" woman and she's outside there being a guard, most of these women would not feel safe. So do not freaking lie. So she starts the women's only gym, and of course the topic comes up, well, what about trans women?
No, because you're a dude. End of discussion.
Said this back in 2021.
Of course, trans women are welcome at my women's only gym. I don't see trans women as trans women.
What?
I see trans women as women.
Okay.
Well. You heard that from her own mouth. So she sees trans women as just women. Now look, I get the whole identity thing. I understand body dysmorphia. I mean, I don't understand it because I'm not living in it. I have a form of it with my chest area, but I kind of can empathize. I also understand that a lot of people are using the trans identity as some kind of fad to like fit in with people, or just be like, oh, I must be trans because of these 5 things that are on the guideline that happens to also align with trans people. I have them too.
That goes the same with like autism and ADHD. They find out some like details about a certain mental illness that they for some reason want to identify as, even though they've never even like visited any psychiatric expert whatsoever. But they just claim that, oh well, I've experienced this and this behavior, and that correlates with this and this mental illness. So surely I have this mental illness. Like, if you're so sure, go get yourself evaluated and, you know, actually get a doctor, a professional to, you know, actually, what's it called again? I forgot the name. Evaluated. No, that's not the term. Whatever. That, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Along with a host of other things, so trans must be the only thing that I am, and I don't agree with that. I also agree when other trans people have said, yes, we are trans women. Not women, trans women. Hence, you wouldn't need the trans. Trans means you were transitioning to a woman, or you want to transition to a woman.
What? Wait, you were transitioning to a woman, or you want... Oh, okay, never mind. I'm stupid. Yeah. Sure.
You cannot already be a woman and then transition to a woman, because then you would have already been a woman. It's not hateful to say that. That's just what the case is. And I would like to believe that most trans people understand this. But then you open up your mouth and say, well, I personally see trans women as just women, full stop, period.
Okay, well, that's her opinion. I don't agree with it, but that's her opinion. And if she wants to, go with that, that's fine.
He said this. Let's hear it again, just for those who skipped the video.
Of course, trans women are welcome at my women's only gym. I don't see trans women as trans women. I see trans women as women. So 100,000% trans women.
She also doubles down with this tweet, which she looks like she posted in 2021, where she says,
respectfully, if you have a problem with trans women attending my gym, then you can find another gym to train at. I've discussed this several times before. Wait, what?
I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's just...
Hold on. Yeah. Several times before. Trans women are...
the irony of everything that's happened. She says, respectfully, if you have a problem with trans women attending my gym, then you can find another gym to train at. I have discussed this several times before. Trans women are women. And also a minority that need to be protected. Okay? Please keep your transphobia away.
I like that she got the same Zoom thing I have and I use. We're very similar. I already feel very connected to this woman. Anyway.
Wait. Protected from what?
Yeah, from what?
What the frick is going on? Okay, whatever. That's what she said. She doubled down on this. So for her to now come out and make this statement...
The Girl Spot gym founder says it will only be for biological women and not trans inclusive. That's just comedy, bro. That's comedy. So she manipulated these people, thinking that they would donate to her cause, and then eliminate the people that she enticed to contribute to her cause. Wow. Wow. That's some mighty fine manipulation there, woman.
Is freaking wild. So now she has to address the tweet that she put up. And I'm glad that she does this, but ma'am, you were your own undoing. Your first mistake, which none of this would have happened if you hadn't started your whole shit with your man-hating comments. Because the whole reason you made this gym in the first place was under the guise of you trying to protect women from men.
In 2021, 4 years ago, I made a tweet, and the tweet referenced my women's only gym, the girl sport, and being trans inclusive. Now, when I made that tweet in 2021, I had just announced my plans to open a women's only gym.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought out the vision or the mission or what it would entail, but all I knew is that I wanted to open a gym. We are now 4 years later, and I've had a great deal of time to figure that out. The Girls Spot Gym exists as a safe space for women because women are facing gym harassment, sexual assault, and sexual violence inside of gyms. And I know that because I'm a victim of it. So the meaning of the Girls Spot Gym is now entirely different. And I say this to say that whilst we are a gym, inside we are focusing on self-defense classes, Muay Thai, boxing classes, as well as workshops and
That's completely bullshit. Listen, man. I know that is like very like mean or whatever, or perceived as very I don't know. I think mean is the best thing to describe it as. When you say that women taking like these classes to like self-defend them are worthless, okay? Because the moment you're trying to be on equal footing with a man, you better be in the top 10% of female fighters. Otherwise, you're not beating the majority of men. Like, yeah, sure, if they teach you, like, oh, poke his eye out if you can. Yeah, that makes sense. But trying to fist fight a dude, you're fighting a losing battle. For the majority of women, you're fighting a losing battle. All right?
activations around PCOS. And
honestly, I think all of this is exceptional. I think it's a great thing that she's doing for women, and not.
No, it's giving women false courage. It's actually more dangerous. It's like, giving somebody a gun, convincing them they have bullets in them, and whenever they try to shoot, it can't shoot because it doesn't have bullets in them. Women, even though they can train to fight, you know, they can train to become strong, right? And I'm not saying all of them, all right? There's plenty of women that can beat my ass. 100%. I'm not denying that. But I'm only 5'7", bro. I'm not that tall. You know, like, if you go against some 6'5" dude, you better be like some top ranked fighter. Otherwise, you're not doing shit. You know, it's just body mass versus body mass. That's why there's like weight differences in boxing and other fighting sports. The moment you're against another body class, you're not doing anything. You know, even if you're trained or not. That's the issue here. So women doing these self-defense classes, just giving them false courage, which might actually get them killed. You know, running is always the best option. Always. Avoiding danger. That's what people train. People that train martial arts, they learn self-discipline and they learn what the best course of action is. And 89%, if not 90% of the time, avoiding the danger or avoiding the conflict is the best solution. It's never smart to go in guns blazing in every encounter because you think you can win. What if he's not alone? What if some other dude that comes around the corner that's with him? Then you're a 2v1. You see how dumb it is? It's not smart. And these like self-defense classes barely teach you anything. They're not teaching you really good things at all. You're not gonna get stronger from them. You're not gonna be a Jackie Chan, you know? Like I said, if you're gonna like learn self-defense, you better start learning how to run. All right?
Not just a gym, but teaching them self-defense classes if that's in fact what's going on. The problem is you doubled down and you made it very apparent back then that, hey guys,
what's this gameplay I'm looking at, by the way? What am I looking at, bro? Why do I look like there's a pig and a cow? Like, what?
I need donations. So yes, of course I'm trans inclusive. And the thing that people don't think about, and I know this is very unfortunate, and I know that this is a deeper discussion because it can also come off as hateful for people making these arguments, you know, if the right care is not put into how they phrase things, because, you know, words trigger people nowadays.
Yep.
But here's the thing, and it is really sucky because trans women are biologically men or were assigned male at birth.
Correct.
Trans men are biologically female. So here's the thing, right? I'm sorry, but trans men usually pass better than trans women do. It just
Maybe from a woman's perspective, yes. Me being a man, I disagree. I disagree.
This is what it is. People have admitted it. Trans people have admitted it. It's not me being hateful. It's just me being truthful. It is much easier for a woman.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is much easier for a man to look like a man, or a woman to look like a man, than it is a man to look like a woman. That's correct. No, I didn't understand her correctly. Yeah, I agree.
To get on testosterone and to do all those things and exhibit those male characteristics, even if she still has some of those features, it's a lot easier. When I've seen like
yeah, because you can actually explain what a man is. It's actually very easy to explain how a man looks, how he acts, what he does, what he thinks. Women are way more complex because they are very like there's a lot of variety, you know? Like it's very difficult to pinpoint what is female behavior because that's deemed sexist. But whenever you say that's male behavior, that's okay to say. You know? So that's already very difficult because they're trying to like embody a role that they aren't allowed to actually classify as such, you know?
The comparisons and stuff, much easier most of the time in general for trans men to pass as actual biological men than for trans women. Because the thing is, testosterone plays a very big part in the bone structure, height, muscle mass, and all of that. And after you've had testosterone, you kind of can't reverse that. Like you can grow things and whatnot, but the bone structure in your frame, it's very, very hard unless you go through surgery to get those things done. You have examples like Blair White where she can pass, as she says. And even still, you know, with her voice and stuff and with some of the structures, some people can tell. And you're lucky if you apparently it's a privilege if people can't tell right off the jump. So
yeah, because you're making pretend. You're trying to fool people into thinking that you're something that you're not. Now, I don't have a problem with like people that are trans, you know, if they really think that this helped their, you know, mental or physical or whatever, right? If this helped their life improve in any significant way, then all power to you, right? But from all of the research that has been done, that's also not the case. Maybe a couple people actually improved due to transitioning, but the majority of them are still either struggling with mental health issues, body dysmorphia, other issues that they were already struggling with when they were still the gender or the sex that they were assigned at birth. So even if you're gonna say, oh well, I do it because it will help me, there's no medical evidence that that is true. You know? Like, how hard is it? Okay, like, let's say there's this woman, right? And she is convinced that she's a man, right? Why go through all the trouble of trying to become a man if you can just behave how you want? You don't need to be a man to act like one. You know? You can be a manly woman. Like, Just like there's feminine men. And yeah, sure, most of them are gay, but there's feminine men that aren't. You know? It's just we as human beings are very, how you say this? We as human beings are very diverse. And we can exhibit a lot of different kinds of behavior, right? And some men are, bordering more on feminine, and some women bordering more on masculine. And that's okay. If you're a girl and you don't want to wear a dress, don't wear a dress. If you're a guy and you want to wear, and you don't want to, I don't know, what's like a manly thing that's, let's say you're a man, but you don't like to work out, then don't work out. It's so, I don't know, man. It's just dumb. It's just very stupid. What's up, Mosky? What's good?
Question I would ask, if women are going to this gym because they feel triggered by men, it's not even just the trans woman issue. Let's say some guy just decides, hey, I just identify as a woman, because you don't even actually have to legitimately be trans. You can just say you're trans and people just have to believe you. And he's like, I just want to gain access, and he's a creep or something, and he wants to gain access. What the frick is this game? Sorry, my brain.
Wait, hold on. She is watching the same content I'm watching right now? Damn, that's a bit of an immersion break. I thought it was edited, but she's watching the same content I'm watching. Okay.
Yeah, if he just says that he's trans and he wants to gain access to see women, because, creepy guys would do that. They'd be like, ooh, a gym full of only women. I'll be the only actual guy. All I gotta do is say I'm a woman, say I'm trans, and I'm in. I get to look at women work out all day and see what they're doing. So easy. That's all you have to do. Are you trans? You don't look like a woman. You don't look like you're trying to be a woman. No, I am trans though. I am. So
yeah.
Okay. I guess you get to come in. Or if a guy puts on a wig and he's like, you know what? I'll just say I'm trans. Comes at the door. They're like, why are you here? I'm a woman. You said trans women are women, so you can't not let me in. Duh. Okay, you get to come in. And then these women that are in there that do not want to be around.
This is why it's very important to not blur the lines between men and women. Listen to the song? Yeah, I did. It wasn't really my thing, though.
Men, or they were victims of assault, and they're looking over at this biological dude who's just staring at them, or in the locker room when he whips out his freaking 8-incher, and then they're like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. Like, at that point, what are you supposed to do? And I'm pretty sure this woman, she had to eat her freaking words, because maybe she was losing business, and I'm sorry, this thing is freaking distracting as hell. I don't know what's going on with this game, but
what is this game, bro?
It's a better one. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, that's a very tricky situation, and I think these women probably came out and told her, "Look, we don't want to come here if you're going to have actual men in your gym, because no matter what they think they are or what they say they are, it's triggering to me because this guy's staring at me and he's a dude, and all I can see is the face of my aggressor. I'm just going to respectfully leave because."
Also, I want to defend this statement a little bit, because I want to pick each one side. I'm very neutral about a lot of things. I don't think men inherently will transition to become a woman just so they can creep on women. I don't think that is the most logical thing that they would do. So you could assume that most trans women would not behave as creepy dudes, I think, but that's just speculation.
You said that men want to come in our spaces, and here are these biological men that you can't really prove are trans or not that are coming into our space. And here's the other issue, right? The whole thing just starts.
Very fan, but I would never think it's okay to share a bathroom with a female. Yeah, for real.
Trans men who do
there's boundaries,
very well as actual men. So, but they're biological women, and you said that only biological women can come to your gym. So you got people like this trans man. As I said, they're
Listen, man, this is such a skill issue. Imagine you're on testosterone and you look like this shit. I am sorry, bro. I am genuinely sorry, but that is pathetic. That is pathetic. Holy shit. Hey, good on, good on him for being, all, how do you say it? Comfortable in his body. But I would be embarrassed if I looked like that while I was taking testosterone.
Really good at passing. And
wow, he can dip, what, 5 pounds? Bravo, bro. You're such a man. Holy shit, man. Holy shit.
Looking hot, and he's like, yeah,
wow,
I'm gonna work out at this gym. Wow. I'm a biological woman. You gonna check inside my shorts to see if I have a puss? Bro, but look at this.
You're so mid. Oh, it's so mid, bro. Oh my days.
And then are these women that are threatened gonna be like, he looks like a dude, and the trans man is like, yeah, but I don't have the object that would be responsible for violating you. But then when they look at him, they're gonna be like, yeah, but you look like a dude though. Like, you see what I'm saying? The whole thing just kind of falls apart. And it's kind of hilarious because the thing is, she started this. She's the one who started this whole thing. And now
you could just tell. You could just tell. This woman just Googled how men behave, and now she's just imitating how men should behave. Like, look at her. Like, she looked up how to side bicep. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Oh god. Having like armpit hair and shit, thinking, oh, that's manly. Bro, she's even balding. Crazy.
She is getting freaking flamed. And I don't really blame the trans people in this situation because, first of all, you said with your own mouth and then doubled down that it was trans exclusive. And yes, trans inclusive, sorry. And then she said, do not ask me this question again. Of course, trans women are women. And then you're walking it back after these people gave you donations and supported you and everything, only for you to come out and be like, yeah, on second thought, I didn't actually think this through like most business people would. And yeah, we can't have trans women in there.
Honestly, I don't think it's bad of her to say what she said. I think she should have said it the honest way. She should have been honest, saying, well, maybe not honest. I don't know what her honesty was, but let's say she thought that at the time. That was 4 years ago, right? In those 4 years, a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit changed, right? So somebody's opinion would change. So I would, if that was my statement or my project or my company or whatever, I would formally declare that, yes, I used to think this. We are 4 years later now, and I have reconsidered this whole trans women being women. I think a lot of people would still be angry, but I think a lot of people would respect her honesty, because a lot of people respect when people say things very respectfully and honestly, But this is more like, oh yeah, I was being an idiot. Oh, goofy me. No one's gonna respect that. That's dumb.
I know what I said, but I said what I said, and I'm unsaying what I said.
All of which occur to biological women. Majority of the women who are seeking my women's only gym, the Girl Spot, are coming here because they have faced some level of gym intimidation or sexual violence and assault that has been perpetrated by men. So as the owner of the gym, it is very important to make it clear how my women's only gym will be operating, and it will be operating as a single-sex space for biological women. Now, we do believe that everybody deserves a safe space, and there are many gyms that are starting to have mixed cubicles and changing rooms so that individuals can feel safer and more included in these environments. But the Girl Spot gym as a standalone is a female-only gym because it is imperative that I stick to the vision and the mission and ensure that these women feel safe.
Okay, fair enough. But girlie, you did come out and say that trans women are women. So by your own logic, what exactly are you keeping them safe from now excluding trans women? Unless you're gonna walk back that statement and say that trans women are not actually women, because you can't be both. Just say.
you know, you could say that maybe, let's say she still thinks this, right? But if her customers, right, her gym members, you know, don't think this, then she's going to prioritize the opinion of her customers, right? I think if all her customers say it's okay, then it wouldn't have been that she wouldn't have said this. I don't think her opinion about whether a trans woman is a woman or not is relevant in this instance. I think it is more who is bringing more money in, and obviously, considering statistically there's more females on Earth than there are trans women on Earth, so statistically there's got to be more customers that, you know, are going to pay for a female only gym than somebody who, you know, accepts mentally delusional men. You know, it's a normal business practice, prioritizing the biggest audience.
I'm going to give my take that nobody asked for over the safe space gym. Who is it safe for? Who is it for? Who is safe in your gym? If you're saying that trans women are not welcome or safe in your gym, the most vulnerable women in the UK at the moment, in this specific cultural moment, because of what's happening in the US, Project 2025, and what's...
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Oh, that was amazing. That reaction of her, man.
The most vulnerable women in the UK at the moment, in this specific cultural moment, because of what's happening in the US, Project 2025, and what's...
Oh, Lord. Okay. Here's the thing. Like, unless you live in, like, the Middle East and certain countries like that, where people are actually, like, you know, people who are trans or gay, don't really know what these people are talking about. And maybe I can't speak on it because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I don't like this opinion. I don't like this whole, like, oh, there's people that have it worse. No, I think you should acknowledge that people's struggles are real. And I do believe that she says, like, oh yeah, sure, there's definitely going to be a lot of trans women that are having a lot of issues because they're trans. I don't disagree on that. I think that's a very valid opinion, and I think it's a very valid struggle that they're going to be, you know, that should be taken seriously. Because even though I don't agree with the initial, how do you say this? Their beliefs, that doesn't mean I don't want to, how do you say this? That doesn't mean I don't want these people to have good lives, right? I don't want people to suffer just because other people are going to make them suffer, if that makes sense. Question, sometimes I was curious, something I was curious about. Last time we voice chatted played, before I left I mentioned you know how it was fun and would love to play again. We have to see about that. I'm very curious what it's just a go because I was very... No, not at all. Not... Bro, listen. I haven't touched a game since then. I have not played any games after that. Outside of the games I played on the stream. Like, my free time has been chaotic, to say the least. So that's not it at all. You don't have to worry about that at all. That's not at all. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the struggles are definitely a real thing. And I don't want to disregard them.
I'm hearing two sides of the coin. I'm hearing a bunch of trans people and trans allies saying they're dangerous, it's just a step outside, even though I'm seeing quite the opposite in a lot of these videos.
Yeah, but the danger they're talking about is criticism online or people talking badly about them online. There's not a pandemic of trans women getting beat the fuck up. You know? Like, the danger they're facing is criticism online. You know?
Videos of trans people being super aggressive towards people who accidentally misgender them or who are just being assholes. But someone's being an asshole to you. Someone calls me a bad name. I'm not going to be able to go over there and punch them. I'm going to be like, okay, keep walking. And
yeah, but they're mentally deranged men. Like, of course they're gonna be aggressive. Because they're still men. And they're mentally deranged. You know? They're unstable. Of course they're gonna behave like unstable. You know?
Distance myself from that person that I now not feel safe from. But then I also have the other flip side of the coin where there are trans people and even people who are trans allies who are like, yeah, this is what we are. We get it. And I'm fine. I don't know what people are talking about. But with you constantly fear mongering, you're going to make trans people feel more afraid and then act out in a way from fear that's going to be aggressive that puts them more as a target. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, I probably don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm sure someone's going to correct me and educate me in the comments. But here's the thing I don't understand, right? It is kind of messed up, yeah, that people don't want you in a space. I understand how that can feel very ostracizing.
Oh.
But the way that I grew up, like, if people don't want me somewhere, I'm not gonna want to be somewhere where I'm not wanted. You know, it for me.
And also, it's very funny that she doesn't acknowledge this at all, considering she's a black woman. You would think that if anyone would be against discrimination based on something they can change, that they're born as. Okay, well, it's not really born as. It is, kinda, I guess. I don't know, maybe. But something that they, you know, that they are, right? You can't accept how somebody is. You would think a black woman would understand that more, right? But maybe that's generalizing, you know?
Me personally, it is the biggest insult, and I make myself look worse if people are like, well, we didn't invite you to our party. And I'm gonna be like, well, I want to go to your party. You need to let me in. I'm just like, bro, why would you even want to be somewhere where people clearly don't want you?
True.
I don't understand. These women are screaming that they don't want you there. For whatever reason, I don't think it's just, oh, we hate trans people. It's that a lot of people abuse the system and say they're trans, but they're not. And then you actually end up with people in harm's way. And yes, it doesn't help when the community is like, well, that person says they're trans, so they're trans, so just let them in the bathroom or let them in this woman's space. And then when that person does something wrong, the only thing that the community comes out, the vocal ones, not all of them, but the vocal ones of the community come out and say is, well, don't misgender that person, even though it's very clear the person was just using the guise of being trans to gain access to people who are actually weaker than the biological sex, because males biologically are stronger than us. It's not hateful to say that. Yeah. It is true. Like, if I were to go in a wrestling match with my husband, I would get freaking clocked. Like, there's no competition. Even if a guy is like smaller than me, let's say he's a 4-foot guy or something like that, his muscle mass and structure alone, I would get decked. I'd probably be able to.
I don't know how big she is, but 4 foot? I don't know.
To be like, use his momentum and like leave or something, but strength to strength.
True.
He's winning. It just is what it is. Yes, you have outliers, but they're not the norm. So then you have
exceptions don't make the rule. Yeah, correct.
These women are like, oh my gosh, I feel this way, and you know, I just don't want males around me. Like, I don't want. First of all,
yeah, it's like victim blaming almost, saying, oh, you have to accept trans women because we feel that we are women. But then you're just disregarding the trauma these women experience from real men, saying that, oh, well, we're different. That's just invalidating their trauma. That's just saying, oh, you're wrong about me. Well, if she doesn't feel that, and somebody who's trans should know that feelings are very important, right? Because you feel that you're a woman, so you urge everyone to accept that you're one. You would assume that these people would understand that if somebody who's got traumatized or got something happened something badly between a man and her, you should respect and expect respect for those feelings, because feelings are very important to your whole thing. You know, otherwise you're just a hypocrite.
All women who act like that or women who are like that, you need therapy because men exist in the real world, whether it be biological men, trans men, or whatever. They exist in the real world. You're going to come upon these people. So if you do not get the therapy to be able to deal with these situations, you cannot expect that the world is just going to cave to you and just be like, you know what? We're going to make you feel completely safe in this world. Nothing is ever going to happen to you again. Or what? You have a defense class. I understand internal building spaces should be respected, but you have a lot of these women walking around like everyone must make intercession for them against men in general or men in public. And my thing is work on that and stay at home or do something, you know, away from everyone. Invest in getting machines at home like I have, so you don't have to deal with people looking at you or whatever. Because I understand it could be annoying, but the reality is you're still going to have to run into those people. Likewise, with the trans community, you're going to run into those individuals like those women as well, who, like you, feel as though they're unprotected. And they may not want biological men in their spaces because of what is happening with people abusing the system. And I'm not even going to say no trans people do crimes at all, because we know that's not the case. A lot of these trans individuals still have that testosterone. And if the people are going to tote the whole toxic masculinity thing, there might be situations where they haven't dealt with their trauma either, and then they put it on somebody else. Women do the same thing too. This isn't just for trans men or trans women, it's for trans men as well. The difference is that most of the time when a trans woman says that they are trans and they're biologically male, most of the time from what we've seen, they are a lot stronger. And yes, there is sometimes in cases where they get mad where a biological woman might look at a biological man who's losing his shit and be fucking scared out of their minds, because the truth is, if things were to pop off, whether that trans woman thinks that she is fully woman or not, obviously from how things look, you can easily hurt that biological woman because you are stronger. You're like the super soldier version of that. And it's not me being mean, it is just what it is. So I understand in some cases why certain women, especially if they were victims of these crimes, would feel like this. But then you have trans men who look like men. So what, you're gonna kick them out because they look like a man? Because if they tell you, hey, I'm a biological woman, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen because trans men, why would they want to be in spaces for the gender that they rejected? Why would they want to do that? That doesn't make sense.
Are you going to draw them in the back and have them take down their pants and prove it to you? Now you're going to have harassment cases on your hand, and this business is going to have a million different lawsuits before it even gets off the ground. And all of this started from this woman saying, yes, it's going to be trans inclusive. And from also saying, yes, women need protection from men in general. Men are disgusting. Men are, and she didn't say that verbatim. I'm just saying that's the kind of
that's probably what she thinks. It's not a stretch.
Message that you're putting out there. And now you're shocked that this is blowing up in your face.
Not! Hey! You do not! What are you doing? What? You do not take pictures of me!
Trust me, he did not take pictures of you, bro. Nobody wants pictures of you, bro. Nobody.
Well, excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to.
Bro got a deeper voice than me. What you mean you're a man, bro? Like...
You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Both of you guys? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Yeah, and then he corrected himself, you moron. Get over it.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you.
Look, it's the peaceful trans people that won't harass women, right? That are completely safe to be in women-only spaces. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking sir.
I apologize.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
Now.
Ooh. Those boxes definitely hurt. Wow.
I showed those clips, not to, try and elicit anything except for perspective, because I think that's very important. Just as I would not go up to a little 4-year-old child and start hovering over them and threatening them and being angry, I'm aware that I could beat that child up. You have to be aware. You have to read the freaking room. And if a child is used to being abused by grown-ups, you know, hit by them and stuff like that, and you're trying to make the child feel safe because you are physically stronger than them, it doesn't matter if I decide to be like, you know what, I see myself as a child, you know, the child is not going to see you that way. They're freaking, they have PTSD. It is what it is. And it's your job to be like, you know what? It sucks. This makes me feel like shit because I didn't do anything to this person. But instead of being angry and aggressive, let me try and be the best representation of my community and show these women that there's nothing to be threatened over. One of the ways you do that is not forcing yourself into their space, but creating your own space and saying, you know what? Trans people are all welcome. And women, you are welcome too. You have to be better than the people that you claim are out to get you, because you will just end up, the people who are thinking the worst of you, you're going to end up proving them right if you show them the worst of you. Even if it's frustrating for you, you have to see things from their perspective. It's like somebody taking a dog who has been hurt by humans and the dog bites you. You're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to be in your space, dog, slap the dog and be like, no, I'm here now. You know, I'm not the one who did. No.
Yep.
You say, you know what? This dog is used to seeing people hurt them that look just like me, or things that look just like me. I have to prove to them that I am not.
It's a survival instinct. You bite up, you defend yourself against things that you think are threatening. And people that don't perceive your aggressive behavior against you as protective or like self-defense, and instead of combative, those are the people that will not be, how you say this, understanding of your situation, because they think that you are not retaliating, you're actually engaging in physical combat, right?
That. Yes, it's unfair, but it is on you to be the best representation of humanity so you can rehabilitate that dog and educate them, for want of a better word, that not all humans are like this. And that while their feelings are valid, doesn't necessarily mean that this is the norm for everybody that fits this look or physiology. And I think the same thing goes for, you know, everything, men included. A lot of men hate women because they pick the worst ones. You go after these women that are horrible, and then because
or to see women online that are horrible. It's just yourself, your experiences aren't reality, right? It's not okay to generalize other people's behavior with something that is compared to other people, such as sex or gender. Just because somebody with the same sex or gender did this doesn't mean all of them will. You know? It's very important that you stay critical and very individualistic, you know? You can't just generalize people based on irrelevant categories such as race, gender, sex, stuff like that.
Because of your bad choices, you're like, well, all women must be like this. But if you actually go out there and socialize and meet a lot of women, not just in your own neighborhood, but across across different countries and cultures, you see, shocking, it is usually on an individual level. You will have good people and you have bad people. You do not want to push yourself into a space where people do not want you, especially if they claim to be transphobic.
Even animals know this. Even animals understand that you can't just put yourself in a certain group or situation or somebody's house where you don't belong in, you know? Because guess what? They might kill you, you know? And because we are civilized, the lines of danger are getting very blurry and people are getting very entitled and reckless, because they know that even if I piss this person off or this group off, there's hardly gonna be any consequences, you know? That's why the animal kingdom works. Because the moment you fuck with the wrong person or the wrong animal, you're dead, you know? But us humans are civilized, and we're not animals. And we have, you know, morals and values, you know? So it's different. Then we need to, like, we have, like, these conflicts, and we have different ways of solving them outside of murder, you know?
Which is a fear of trans people. You're never going to make people stop being afraid of you by forcing yourself into a space to make them more afraid of you and to intimidate them. That is not how we're going to make progress. And it comes off, and other trans people have said this too, it actually sets the whole movement back, or it sets trans people back in general, because they're going to be like, okay, well, now they're all going to start looking at us like this. You're not doing us any favors. So yeah, but
that's the same thing whenever I see a video about a black person just mindlessly stealing stuff from a store and walking out. You know? Like, you're destroying the perspective of the whole black community because your dumbass decide to rob a Walmart getting filmed and posting it like it's some fucking trophy. No, you're a fucking thief, bro. You're a bad person for doing that. And then there's dumbass motherfuckers in the comments saying, oh, but Walmart is gonna feel this. No, I know. Walmart is not gonna feel you stealing $50 worth of stuff, okay? I understand that. But the black community is gonna feel this. Because the public's perception of black people is gonna become, oh, they're just stealing. They're just all thieves, you know? Like, you have to think about your public perception, because, well, you're putting out a bad example of who you are and who your collective is. In this case, it's the collective black people, right? Like, you represent that collective whether you want it or not. Just like I represent the collective of white people. I guess it's not a term I like to use. I rather just use pale and dark-skinned people, because, you know, this whole white and black thing, I think it's weird. It's stupid, because nobody's actually white or actually black. But, you know, that doesn't really matter. It comes off very confusing whenever I say pale or dark. It sounds sometimes racist in some people's eyes. So I generally tend to use black and white, but I don't like the terms personally. But anyway, like, you represent them, whether you want them or not. I represent men, whether I want to or not. You know, it's just, people need to be held accountable for actions of their own, you know, and they gotta realize that some actions represent badly on people that look like you, or have the same ideas, or have the same ideologies. It's not that hard, right? Like, this is not rocket science, surely, right?
I kind of understand. I will lean more on the community side in this case, because this gym woman, she did lie. You lied.
Absolutely.
You walked it back.
Yeah.
You decided to do
She manipulated them.
Men are this and men are that. And the women took it to heart and been like, bro, you're the one who said that it's always going to be a man. So now you have men coming into the gym. And she was stuck between a rock and a hard place that she put herself in because she opened up her mouth. You see, and this is what I'm trying to tell people. I try to tell people of these communities, businesses don't care about you. When it comes to the people who are the loudest about, oh, we agree, we are to support these people. These people ain't shit because they don't support you. If it really came down to it, they don't give a damn about you. They're going to choose their business over you. It just is what it is. The ones pandering the hardest are the ones who will be the quickest to walk back on what they say when they start losing money in business. All of a sudden now, trans people are disposable. Funny how that works. I would have been embarrassed because you took some of their money too. I would have been embarrassed, and I'm not going to be surprised if she ends up getting sued because the people who donated, so a lot of them are probably trans, and they're like, okay, well, you took my money though, because you were reassuring people that if they were trans, they would be.
They could sue her.